your subconscious mind. It's the same thing with this process to the New World Order, man. They want you to get used to scanning your forehead to take your temperature, man. You know, they want you to get used to scanning your wrist to take your temperature. Because when they issue this MOTB, all right, which is the microchip, you know, you're gonna have to get with it because that's gonna be the new system. They're gonna do away with cash, all right? They're gonna do away with the old system, and they're gonna bring in that new system, man, a cashless society.
And you're wearing a mask, all right? You're gonna wear a mask, all right? You go into the store, put a mask on, walk out the store, go home, put TV on, go to bed, and you don't forget you had the mask on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's yeah.
You remember when you had to worry about your keys and your wallet?
Yeah.
Make sure you leave it at the house. Now you gotta leave the house, your keys, your wallet, and your mask.
Exactly. So it's gradualism.
Says, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try
and
them.
that hour of temptation is going into that mark, man. All right, that charagma. Okay, you're gonna need that if you want to strive in this man's system. Okay.
Which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth.
Yeah, try you, man. Okay? Because Lord's gonna be trying the whole world. So first of all, Israel is scattered abroad. All right? It all comes down to Israel, man. We all scattered abroad. Now, the Lord ain't gonna save no Edomite. And the Lord ain't gonna save no heathens. But you got some jakes that might look like different nations. All right? So this trial, you might look like a different nation, but you might be still a wicked nigga. All right? So you're being tried, man. We all being tried. The whole world's gonna fail. All right? Because the Spirit's not dealing with them. Okay? You're gonna have some resistance, but that don't matter because they're not Israelites. It's all about Israel, man. Who's gonna resist? Yeah. Mainly the elect, the 1/3 family, friends. All right? They're gonna resist, man. And the Lord said, I'm gonna save you from the trial, man. From that trial. So the scriptures say, my servants shall eat. Okay? But so you ain't really worried about Esau or your sister. Okay, because Yahweh Shem Yahshua put you in power, and Yahweh Shem Yahshua is gonna deliver us out of your power.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, brother said family, friends. He ain't talking about your cousin Tata and your homeboy G Money.
Yeah.
He ain't talking about them, man. G Money? I didn't mean to say that. When he said family and friends, he means family and friends that help, that are believers. They may not come out and teach, but they believe in what's being taught. They got faith. And they ain't talking about no, that's my little, you gonna make it, that's my cousin. And he over there selling weed in the fucking hallway. Oh, he gonna make it, that's my homeboy. We went to junior high together. And he out there selling crack in the projects. Talking about people that help people that believe. That's what they're talking about. They may not come out and teach, but they have faith in what's being taught. They believe. That's what that's talking about.
Not gonna be a guy's entourage, like he's my man.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna go to, red carpet to the chariot.
Exactly.
That's my man. I grew up with him.
Yep.
They all go into It's talking about, guys that's sincere. They may not be actually teaching, but they have faith, whatever. And they might help the brother out in certain, certain situations.
Yeah, certain situations in your life, stuff like that.
Yeah, I got scripture for you. This is one second.
Yeah. Keep the Lord's statutes, commandments to the best of their ability. Those are people that's like the friends of the prophet. Those are people that believe, that don't come out and teach. That's gonna make it.
You got it.
You got it.
All right, this is Luke 18:7. And shall not the Most High avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them?
Listen, the Lord's elect. All right? The elect is the 1/3. And you can get the 1/3 scripture. All right?
That's right.
Yeah. Get the 1/3 scripture. And you can read that one time.
Luke 18:7. And shall not the Most High avenge his own elect, which cry.
Shall not avenge his own elect. All right? So the amount of hows and byways, silent and crying, and then you got the believers. All right? The helpers. Those are really the friends, man. Because if you're a friend, then you're gonna be in the same mind state. All right. The Lord said, who's my mother and who's my sister?
Yeah.
Them
Mostly, I would just say the believers.
Right.
Because you know
Right.
what? Let's make it clear for these people.
The believers.
If they don't have, the ones that have faith sincerely in Yahweh Shem Yahweh. Now, you have different officers. Certain guys meant to teach, certain guys are just meant to be believers. Because it all goes back to their faith. Which what's going to be the next verse.
Right.
And it says, I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? So the question is, shall he find faith on the earth? The answer is yes, he will find faith on the earth. But why does it say that? Because things going to get so bad to the point where a lot of guys, they're going to get disenchanted at that point. Guys, you see, in garments, teaching, certain guys going to fall up at that point, and they're going to get disenchanted.
Right.
But for the most part, the elect is not going to get disenchanted. They're going to go through whatever they have to go through to show that they're worthy unto the Lord. That's why I tell you in Matthew 24, when it say, except those days be shortened. A lot of times you hear brothers say, if the Most High don't take down a white man, he's going to destroy the whole planet Earth. That's not like what it's really going into.
Yeah.
Except those days be shortened, it's really referencing toward how bad things going to be.
Exactly.
And the Most High, he's going to have to shorten Jacob's trouble, like the brother stated. It's going to be so bad to where the Most High got to shorten those times for the elect,
Exactly.
So that's the Most High is having mercy on the elect. So that's why I said, except those days be shortened for the elect's sake.
So it don't really mean, except those days be shortened, like the day can go from 24 hours to 23 minutes, 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 17 seconds. You look at that word shortened, and in Greek, if I'm going to say this, the word shortened, word there is kalabao, and it says to mutilate in New Testament, to shorten, abridge, curtail. And if you look at that word curtail, C-U-R-T-A-I-L, it means reduce in extent or quantity, impose a restriction on, deprive someone of something, to make less. This from Merriam-Webster right now. The other one was from Google. Merriam-Webster. The other one was from Oxford Languages. It's from Merriam-Webster. To make less by, or as if by cutting off or away some part, to curtail the power. To curtail power. So basically saying to make less or to cut off. Right. In other words, the Most High is not going to let it go on, but for so long. It's not going to be a 70, 100, it's not going to be 50 years. It's going to curtail it. It's going to cut it off at a certain type of point. It's going to be a limit. Be an extent to where Esau can go to until the Most High steps in and spiritually intervenes by sending Yahweh Shah. That's what that's talking about.
It's the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, and verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die.
Now, that land, that's talking about the nation of Israel. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans in all the land, the whole world. All right? So, one time.
And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die.
Well, that's mainly going into America, man. All right? Because America's going to be shot, it's going to be destroyed by way of thermonuclear missiles. Different parts of the world also going to get hit. America's gonna be totally wiped out, all right? And you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Americans that don't want to be right with the Lord, that live here, you're gonna be destroyed right along with this place, okay? 2 parts is going into the 2/3, okay? Right?
But the 1/3 shall be left therein.
And the 1/3, okay, that's going into the elect, which consists of the 144,000, all right, and the rest of the believers, man. Okay, the people sighing and crying for this place to be destroyed. People that believe in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. All right.
and I will bring the third part through the fire.
Through the fire. Okay, yeah, we were brought out of here by way of chariots, beamed up. Once it's being destroyed, but right here is going into the different adversities that we have to face, man. Different temptations. All right, like for instance, when you come into this truth, you catch them a bear of hell, and I feel like now I feel, but through the spirit, it's not even that you catch bear of hell. You just realize the hell you catch it. All right, because people in the world catch the same hell, but they don't get it. They think it's nothing. All right. Now you come into this truth, it kind of intensifies, man. Such as you might have to go to work, and then your boss might tell you, "Yo, listen, you gotta shave that beard, man. You're getting a little rough, a little rugged down there. You gotta keep it smooth. If you don't keep your job, now you gotta quit your job because you want your beard grow. Your woman gives you hell because you can't see her every day. All right. The Lord said you gotta love me. Love the Most High more than you love your family.
Right.
All right? So,
More than you even love yourself.
only love yourself. That's right. And that's the adversity. That's some adversities that you face in this state, man. All right?
And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined.
Right. We'll refine them as silver is refined. All right? When you have precious metals, all right, you got to put it through the fire. Okay? To get the yeah, right, man. To make it pure gold or pure silver, or whatever it may be, man. So spiritually, we read that precious gold, that precious silver, all right, precious metals, stones. You gotta go through the fire. Lord will be those men, I should say, man. All right.
You know, like when the visit at Lloyd, like when we have jewelry. It's not 100% gold, because 100% gold is so soft. They got to add other metals to make it more hard. So what you have to do is, let's say you want to get the gold molten, you have to got to put it in the furnace to get rid of the other metals and to purify it. And that's what happened with us, because we came up into an element that wasn't pure, and we still have certain old habits in us. So the Most High put us through hell. We go through circumstances to make us more pure, to make us so we can be found more acceptable in the eyes of the Lord. That's being, tried through the fire.
It says, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried.
That's right, man. It's not talking about walking through a strip of fiery rocks and some shit like that, man. All right, it's a fiery trial, but basically it's just the adversities and the problems you go through, man. Your car breaking down. All right.
They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my power.
Right. So we are calling the Lord's name. When we going through hell, who can we pray to? All right, we're praying to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. All right, and the Lord's gonna have mercy on us. And ultimately, when the place is being destroyed, the Lord's gonna beam us up, man. By way of chariots.
I got a quick piece of it.
Okay.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 2, verse 5. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity.
Now, I want to bring this up also because I was watching the Apostle Rakar and the Elder Matzah, and they were basically going into the Elder Taz Dakba was there also, the Elder Karab was there also, all right, and they was going into the All One West, all right, how they had all those men up in there, different ranks, high ranks and whatnot, and around the year 2000, they all fell out because they thought that Yahweh Shah was gonna come back around that year. Now, that's part of that furnace, man. Having faith, having patience. Okay, listen, the Lord ain't come back, so that means you gotta suffer a little longer. You got an example, our apostles and our elders, man. All right. So that's part of that. Part of that hell, man. You know. And listen, man. The Lord don't come back in 2, 5, 10 years. What does that mean? Keep pushing. All right. But through the Spirit, we know, man. This place is out of here, man. It's gotta be the end of this place. Someone know that? That's exactly what he asked for. Exactly, bro?
Yeah, I got Amos 9. I started at 9. For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel.
You know what, bro? You go for a little verse. I mean, you go down to 8.
Okay, verse 8.
Get into it.
Behold, the eyes of the Lord
Go back.
power upon the sinful kingdom.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what you see when you look up in the sky, you see some UFOs. Those are the chariots of the Heavenly Father, man. All right, that's how those angels really get around. Okay, and that's also how we're gonna be living. Lord, well, we those men. Okay, and as a spirit, you see it more and more, man, because a lot of demonic practices is taking place in this place, man.
And I will destroy it from off the face of the earth.
Right. The Lord says He's going to destroy this place from off the face of the earth. Yeah, that's going into Israel at that time, but now you could actually bring it forth into America, man. All right, because it goes hand in hand. And the Lord said He's going to destroy it from the face of the earth. Okay, but this place, but Israel, it's going to be destroyed from the face of the earth because you got those so-called Jewish people over there defiling that place, man. Homosexuals, all right, eating pork, all right, swine, doing all type of filthy acts. You know they do all types of wickedness over there. You got a land called Tel Aviv. They do all types of madness, man, like homosexual acts. All right, so Israel's gonna be destroyed, but America's gonna be destroyed too. Ain't no coming back for this place.
I think what they had the first gay governor in Israel, and he, you know, they show you pictures. He's getting married, and they got their yarmulkes on. So that go to show you that can't be the people, because you go into the prophecy, it speaks how the Most High, He's gonna, you know, Israel is gonna judge the nations. Israel.
No, let him stay on.
So I speak that. So then the people, the real Israelites, are supposed to judge the nation and judge them by the law. So now, if they the true people of the Most High, you know, that wouldn't have been happening. These guys are supposed to be getting put to death. That governor was supposed to be getting put to death, and that act was supposed to be executed. But it doesn't happen, and the reason because these are not the people of the Most High. You know, matter of fact, let's go back to Amos 9 and 8. That's what I was reading. And you can get Isaiah.
It's the book of Amos, chapter 9, verse 8. Behold, the eyes of the Lord power are upon the sinful kingdom.
And of course, the eyes is represented toward the angels. Go ahead.
And I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob.
And that's what's happening, that's going to happen in future prophecy. So we read the prophecies comprise of the events that the Most High is going to bring on the earth. And the main event is the destruction of America. Go ahead.
Said the Lord, for lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel.
So the Most High plan to sift, because not only He's going to destroy, He's going to sift. And He's going to deliver the righteous, because the Most High, He's separating the wicked from among the just. So that's the sifting. And you have Israelites, you know, located in all parts of the earth, different settlements. So, you know, you got Israelites going to be delivered in all parts of the earth. But the main location is America. Right?
And I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve.
You got Israelites in the land of Israel that look like so-called Jews. that you may think is so-called Jews, but they're actually Israelites. You got Israelites in Pakistan. You got Israelites in North Korea. You got Israelites in Japan. You know, Germany, Europe. So Israel is all over. Go ahead.
Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. All the sinners.
So what did that mean? Yet should not the least grain, because we represent the grain, and the most. If that person is of the elect, the Most High is going to deliver that person. Not one person that's of the elect is going to fall to the side. Okay?
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword.
Right, all the lawbreakers of the Most High's people, they're going to be put to death. You know what I mean? Jake's like, well, I don't believe in the Bible, man. The Bible's written over and over and over. So those type of Jakes gonna be destroyed.
Yeah.
Jakes that's into Islam, 5%ers. Anybody that won't comply to the scriptures, they're gonna be put to death. Any insubordinate Israelite is gonna be put to death. So that's the sinners of the Most High that's gonna die by the sword. And the sword is comprised of nuclear destruction, famine, pestilence. Okay? Like you see Nate is looking like he's thin as hell. You know, he said he believes somebody poisoned him.
Yeah.
Well, what I believe is, because he don't got facts on it, you know what I'm saying? Since it's going the way he believe, it's subject to other belief. I believe he probably took the vaccine. You know, I believe he took the injection. Am I right? I may be right, I may not be right. I don't have the facts, but I believe he probably did take it. And he messed up by it. Go ahead.
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us.
Yeah, how do they say that now? They say it by ways of saying, well, people been saying the end is gonna come. Back of my grandfather, my great grandfather, people were saying the end was gonna come. So why would I believe that now? So that's a form of people saying, you know, the evil's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like we in a time now where the prophecies are fully speaking. The whole world shut down through a pandemic. Okay, we never seen anything like this in history. You know, a global reset, and all these different nations all in compliance. This is the first time we really seen that in history. Go ahead.
In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof.
Right. So the Most High said He's going to raise up the tabernacle of David, which is fallen, because during the time of David's reign, David had all Israel together, and you know that's the Most High's going to do now. You know, you're gonna have all Israel come back together under David, because David's going to come back, because David's never going to lose that life. So all Israel going to come back together as one nation under David. That's why I said it's going to close up the breaches, meaning the differences. You know, like in New York, you have Rikers Island. You had Morenos against the Boricuas and different gangs. The Latin tribes beefing with other Latin tribes and dark-skinned tribes. Dominicans don't like the Haitians. The Puerto Ricans don't like the tribe of Judah. So he said he's going to close the breaches. And how he closes the breaches is having men that's of the elect come back into this knowledge. Go ahead.
And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old.
So he said he's going to build it as in the days of old. So he's going to raise up his ruins. So both sides is spiritually rising back the debris and building that building again, that temple. Hold that and get on 1 Corinthians. Tell that now. 7.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse
7. It says, so then neither is he that planteth anything, neither he that watereth, but the Most High that giveth the increase.
That's what's happening now. When we come out here and teach, we planted a seed in people's minds and we water it. So that seed can grow. But it says it's the Most High that gives the increase. Because you could teach somebody, but it's up to the Most High for that person to receive it. Okay?
It says, now he that planteth and he that watereth are one.
Right, he that planteth and he that watereth is one. Meaning they're both doing a labor or service to Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Shah. Go ahead.
And every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor.
Go ahead.
For we are laborers together with the Most High.
And what's that reward? The reward is what we're going to attain from doing this service, teaching, and being delivered. So that's the reward, being delivered and entering into the kingdom. Okay.
It says, for we are laborers together with the Most High. Ye are the Most High's husbandry. Ye are the Most High's building.
Right, we the Most High's husbandry. Now, husbandry, another word for that is a farmer. So the Lord referenced us as being farmers. A husbandry is a person that, plants seed into fertile ground. So we're farmers. We're spiritual farmers. And what's the seed? The word. Go ahead.
It says, according to the grace of the Most High, which is given unto me, as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon.
So you say he had laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon. And what's that foundation? That foundation is Yahweh Shah. Go ahead.
But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon. For other foundation can no man lay than that is laid.
Read a little louder. Read again.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 11. For other foundation can no man lay than that is laid.
Right. So the foundation is supposed to be built upon Yahweh Shah. So if anybody teaching outside of Yahweh Shah, you don't build upon that. Go ahead.
Which is Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Now if any man build upon this foundation,
that's why Yahweh Shah is known as the cornerstone. Okay? Because what's a cornerstone? The cornerstone is the first stone you put down in a bricking course. And that cornerstone, what it does, it combines two walls together. And from that cornerstone, that's how you finish off the rest of the course. And every brick is following that format of that cornerstone. And so that cornerstone is Yahweh Shah. What verse you left on that?
First,
All right, go ahead.
1 Corinthians 3 and 11. For other foundation can no man lay that is laid, which is Yahweh Shah.
Right.
Now if any man build upon this foundation, gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble.
Right, so it mentioned precious stone, gold, wood, hay, and stubble. Now, that represents the level of a man's faith. Some guys come to the level of stubble, but stubble is just like debris. Then you have wood and hay. Now, hay, if you set hay on fire, hay is going to be consumed real quick. So that's like unto a man, that's the guy that come in, he might be in for a day, a week, a month, and then you get disenchanted. He's gone. That's the level of faith he's on, hey, and then he's gone. You get consumed. Then it says wood. Wood takes a lot longer to burn, which that's a God that's, Shalom, bro. That's a God, he might be in it for a couple of years, but then burn out. Go ahead. Then it says gold, silver, and precious stone. Now what happens when you put gold, silver, and precious stone? It cleans it. It purifies. So that's a man of the chosen. That's a man of the elect.
Yep.
Go ahead.
For every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it. Because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is.
So it should be revealed by fire, and the fire should try every man's work. And that represents all of us. You know, we're all gonna be tried by the fire. We're all gonna be tempted. You know, the Most High is gonna see what we made of. You know, and Lord willing, we'll be found worthy.
That's what that term goes back to. I want to see what you're made of. Because if you under some type of pressure and you fall under pressure, then you're weak. That's why they got a term, man, you're gonna fall like a cheap soup. You're gonna fall like a lawn chair. They're saying that that's what you're made of. It's like a person say, like back in the days when the dude was tough, like, man, he's a hard rock.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I want to. So somebody say, yo, I want to see what it is that you're made of. If you're not made of much, you like hay or like stubble.
It's gonna show.
All you're gonna do is burn up quick. All you're gonna do is you're gonna burn up quick. That's it. That was the wrong one? Yeah. Oh, okay. They got another one? They got it?
Yeah, so it's gonna show. You know, so some, because not everybody, that's why scripture says many are called, but what? Few are chosen. So some guys, they just called into this thing. And you know, they be super duper Israelites, they hear, they teaching the same thing we teaching, they reading, you know, they doing a service, and then what happened? Something happened when they get disenchanted and they go right back into the world. Because they was called, but however, they was not chosen. Okay. What verse?
That was verse 12. You just read verse 12.
All right, so read verse 12.
This is 1 Corinthians.
Yeah, so read it again.
1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 12. Now, if any man build upon this foundation,
Right.
gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest.
Right.
For the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire. And the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is.
Right.
If any man's work abides which he hath built thereupon,
So it says, any man work abide which have built thereon, but
he shall receive a reward.
right, he shall see a reward. Now, what's that reward? The reward is, you know, being delivered. Because, all right, we did our part. You know, we came, we teach. You know, now if a person accept it or continue in it, that's not none of our business. You know, our job is to teach. Go ahead. Yeah.
This is Revelation chapter 22, verse 12. Revelation 22:12. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me.
Right, and who's speaking? That's Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Shah saying he's coming quickly. And what's with him? The reward, the kingdom. Because Yahweh Shah is coming to do what? Destroy and also deliver. Who's the ones that most Yahweh Shah to deliver? The chosen elect. So he's coming quickly. You got people that think that the destruction is going to happen in generations from now, not in their lifetime. No, the destruction is going to happen within your lifetime, not later, not 20 years from now. It's going to happen real soon. Okay.
It says to give every man according as his work shall be.
And give to every man according to his work should be. Now to the righteous, we're going to receive a righteous reward. We're going to receive deliverance. But guess what? Unto the wicked, what's going to happen? They're going to receive destruction. Go ahead.
1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 15. It says, if any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss.
Those are guys that fall out. Those are the works that are burned. You know, yeah, you had certain men, they used to be back here cursing out the 2/3 and saying how much the Most High is going to destroy them, but then they fell out. But guess what? Now everything you said that applied to the 2/3 and now applies to you. Go ahead.
But he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. No,
And that's going into the elect. So the elect is going to be delivered by what? Fire. Through tribulation. Through suffering. You got certain guys coming into this thing thinking things is going to get more comfortable. No, things are not gonna get comfortable. Things gonna get more discomfortable. Because the Lord's gonna see what we made of. Okay? He's gonna see what we made of. That's why it say what? He that endured to the end. Meaning you're gonna receive opposition. You're gonna go through hard times. Then it say what? That we suffer now, so we won't have to suffer with the world. Okay? Because we going through hard time, but when the Most High bring these events on the earth, destruction, famine, that's when these people are going to suffer. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
This is Acts chapter 14, verse 22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith that we must through much tribulation.
We through what? Much. Let's say some.
No, much.
Right.
Much tribulation.
A little bit.
Much
It
tribulation.
says through much tribulation. Go ahead.
Enter into the kingdom of Yahweh Bahashem
Enter into
Yahushua.
the kingdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So you're gonna go through opposition. You're gonna go through uncomfortable times. You know, but guess what happens? When you go through uncomfortable times, it builds you up. You build up character. Okay? You develop an emotional immune system. The Lord is making us hard because the time that's going to come, we're gonna have to be hard in mind. Because keep in mind, it's going to be body dropping left and right. Loved ones, people you care about. If they're not part of the righteous, guess what? They're gonna lay down low. They're gonna die. Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. They have no temptation taking you, but such as common to man. But the Most High is faithful, who will
Right,
not.
there's no temptations coming to men, because whatever you're going through, just believe there's other brothers that went through it as well. You know, you're not the only person that's suffering. We all suffering. You just have to endure. Go ahead.
It says, but the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it.
That's the mercy. The Most High also make a way to escape, to fight these battles and these temptations, and we get, we pass that test. And Most High don't put us with nothing that's beyond our measure, beyond what we could handle. So if you go through something, the Most High know you can deal with it. So you just got to deal with it. Take the punch in the stomach and keep pushing.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16. It says, know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High?
Right, know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High? Because the temple is our bodies. That's why we don't just consume anything. That's why you don't see us having packs of Newports, smoking cigarettes, because what does that do? That defiles the temple. Doing wicked, certain things that's against the law, but doing things that's against the law, that defiles the temple. Go ahead.
It says, know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High, and that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you.
And what? The Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in us, dwelleth in this temple. That's why I say in Acts 17, the Most High dwelleth not in what? Temple made with hands. Because temple made with hands are the ones, these churches, these Roman Catholic cathedrals. The Most High dwelleth in us. That's where the Spirit resides. And he worked with us. He grants us faith, understanding, spirituality. That comes within us through the Spirit. God.
If any man defile the temple of the Most High, him shall the Most High destroy.
So the Most High is going to destroy them. Go ahead.
For the temple of the Most High is holy, which temple ye are. Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise.
Right. So in other words, you come into this faith, you gotta come in as a newborn baby. You can get that too, because what happened is you gotta flush out everything that you picked up in the world that's opposed to the Most High. You got to flush that out. And you got to start over as what? Newborn baby. Go ahead. There's one in Hebrews 6. And you get on Isaiah 28. What you got right now? Get it on Isaiah 28. Now bring that up.
It's the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 16. For which cause we faint not, but though our
read one verse above that.
2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 15. For all things are for your sakes, that the abundant grace might through the thanksgiving of many redound to the glory of power. For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day.
What it means to faint? Faint. When a person faint or pass out, they not unconscious, but it's a spirit that keeps us strong. So go ahead, read again.
For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day.
What does that mean? That the outward man perish, the man of person you was before, and we become a new man of person. You got to go through, you got to make assessments, you know? Assessments within yourself. Go ahead.
For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, working for us a far more exceeding an eternal weight of glory. While we look not at the things which are... 2 Corinthians 4:17. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment.
So it said our light affliction is but for a moment, right? Remember that part, man.
Working for us a far more exceeding an eternal weight of glory.
So we're going through a light affliction now, but it working far more exceeding for us an eternal weight of glory. So we're going through a light affliction, but the glory we're going to receive is going to be eternal. So it's talking about a light affliction and an eternal glory, and it's putting it on the balance scale. The affliction that we got is light, but the glory we're going to have is eternal. The light affliction is but for a moment, but the glory we're going to get is going to be eternal, perpetual, continual. So if we put both of them on the scale, what does that mean? The glory, the eternal glory, is going to outweigh the light affliction. So what we're going to receive is going to be far greater than what it is that we suffer. You know? The reward will be far greater than suffering.
It's almost like we're getting it for a discount.
Yeah.
You know? Because what we're going to receive and what we're going through to receive it, it's almost like the Most High is giving it for a discount. Yeah. That's the Most High's mercy. And the Most High is doing it because he's bound by his own word. So now, you know, the Most High is based on the faith we have in Yahweh Shah. And we're going off Yahweh Shah's reputation of righteousness. Yeah. And when Yahweh Shah return, we're gonna change, but we're gonna be perfect after that. You know, we're not gonna be like how we are today. You walk in, hey, what the hell was on my mind? What I meant to do? You forget little things, or you just in the park and your arms start itching, and you got like 5 mosquito bites. You know, you wake up congested, or you can't go to sleep because you're congested. That's the flesh we have now. Yeah. But the flesh we're gonna put on is gonna be perfect. It's gonna be indestructible. And that's, you know, what we're looking for.
It says, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not.
What are the things are seen? Things which are seen is the things you see now. You know, because it don't take much faith. It don't take faith at all to see the things you see now. You know, because it's there. You know, the things that it takes faith to see, the things that we don't see yet. Yeah. So we look for the things we don't see. That's what faith is. That's the scripture in Hebrews. Faith is things hoped for. Because if you see it, why would you hope for it? Yeah. There's nothing to believe in because it's already there. So faith comes to the things that's not seen, and believe it. Because anybody, I hate to quote this guy, Les Brown, he said a good point. And he always say, no, anybody can say they have faith when everything's going well,
Yeah.
You know, when everything goes well, anybody can say, oh, my faith is strong. Now, faith is based on when things are not going well, and you believe. And you hope the Most High deliver you, and you of the elect, and Most High have mercy on you. That's when faith comes in. Because everything going your way, there's nothing to have faith in. There's nothing to hope for. But when things are taken away, that's when hope comes in. And your faith comes in.
It says, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen.
But you got people that's in the churches, you know, they have you know, the face mask, well, the face shield, underneath that is a mask, they got goggles, they got a latex gloves. Like, you don't see us back here with that because we have faith. We have faith that the Most High is going to preserve us, because we understand that life and death is in the power of the Most High. So if the Most High wants you to cross over, you're going to cross over. If the Most High wants you to live, you're going to live.
For the things which are seen are temporal.
Right, the things which are seen is temporal. So everything we see is temporal. You got certain guys, you know, they doing videos. They supposed to be Israelites, but they doing videos talking about, I'm not scared to get the jab. And they get in the jab because they scared.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna come to a time, the only one that's working, I was saying to this brother on my way here, like, the only ones that's gonna be working is the ones that are injected. And we're gonna have to put all our full hope in the Most High. Not 95, not 90% or 100% trust in the Lord. Not 99%, 100% in the Most High. That's when faith comes in.
So Romans 8:24. For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man
Hello.
seeth,
Go ahead.
why doth he yet hope for?
Read that again. Say it louder for the ones in the back.
This is Romans 8:24. For we are saved by hope.
Right. Hope is something that you desire, you know? So that's what you have faith in. Something you desire to see. But if you already seen it and you know you're a part of it, there's no hope. Because it's already there. Go ahead.
But hope,
But what if we knew exactly who was of the elect? Would you be diligent? Would you be coming out here? You'll be coming out anytime you want, taking Saturdays off. Your mind's still gonna be, well, I'm gonna make it anyway. Like, you ever been in, like, you do construction, right? You ever worked on a job with a guy, he's related, with somebody. He don't do as much as the guy that he's not sure if he's going to the next job. So he gonna work harder because he's hoping to go to the next job. The guy that already know he's going to the next job and the job after that, he gonna go to the furthest back and do little as possible. Because he already know. He got nothing to prove. Let me finish this and then you bring that up back.
it says, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why doth he yet hope for?
Right.
But if we hope for that we see not, then do we with patience wait for it.
There you go. Therefore, we with patience wait for it. And the apostle was break down the word patient means to suffer. Because now, let's say you're at the DMV, and soon you walk there, it's like a long line outside the door. You gotta patiently wait. You gotta stand there and suffer. For how long? You may be there for 3 hours waiting to do whatever you have to do. You're suffering. You may have to stand on your feet. Your foot start hurting you, whatever. But that's suffering. Patient means to suffer. That's what people say, be patient. You suffer whatever the circumstance you have to go through. Let them bring out the preacher that bring it to us.
The 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 10. Wherefore the rather brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if ye do these things, ye shall never fall.
Right, and that's something, we all have to pray for, like more passion. Like you got guys that, on YouTube, the YouTube world, and then you see them always, uploading new content. You know, if they passionate about that hip hop news, celebrity gossip, and they'll keep loading video, and that's where we have to be. So make our call and election sure, be diligent, always be involved. You know, sometimes, you know, the spirit is on you, you gotta look for the spirit. You know, you gotta look for it. Watch some videos, and a thought may come to your mind, you can do a show on. Oh, I see on that right here. All right, go ahead.
This is Hebrews chapter 6, verse 10. It says, "For the Most High is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have showed toward his name, and that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister."
So it says the Most High is not unrighteous that he should forget our labor of love. Because man could forget that, but the Most High is not a man. And the Most High is not going to forget. So you got to constantly, no matter what happens, you got to constantly have in your mind that the Most High is there with you, no matter what you're going through. Is it easy? No. That's where faith comes in. Every time you go through things, you feel like the Most High is rejecting you. But keep on believing what happens. The end result, the Most High deliver you. Deliver you out of whatever circumstance that you're in. You got to constantly believe. It's times you feel like you're at the corner, you know, the corner, like, damn, how am I gonna get out this jam? And a miracle happened. You know, a blessing you couldn't imagine. The Most High take out that circumstance, and you know, you about to be like, damn, tears, like, damn, Most High heard my affliction. The Most High got me out the circumstance. Right?
And we desire that every one of you do show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope unto the end.
Right, show the same diligence. Constantly be constantly active. You know, you gotta be active. Like you see these guys, other different camps, like in Brooklyn, in Grove Junction, you see them sometimes. You see them a little bit. You know, they're not there all the time. You go there 1 week, you're like, oh damn, man, the Lord is a so-called black man. I want some more. Next week they ain't there. Now you don't know where to go. Like, they don't got you hyped, and they ain't there. You go back the following week, they ain't there. They're a little bit. Go ahead.
It says that ye be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit promises.
All right, you want to say a couple words?
I mean, you know, everything that we're doing, you know, it's not in vain. All right, when Yahweh Shai comes back by the way of the so-called UFOs, we're going to be rewarded. You know, all the hell we have to catch, it's going to pay off. All right, we're going to inherit immortality, everlasting life, you know, everlasting kingdom. When Yahweh Shai comes back, he's going to give us power to take down our enemies. You know, so suffer now, and it's going to pay off later when Yahweh Shai comes back.
Hebrews 12 and 15, looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of the Most High, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. Because like the brother said, being diligent is the most important thing. Because the scriptures speak about idleness teaches much evil. When you aren't diligent or constantly in the spirit, it gives the spiritual demon Satan an avenue to creep in your mind and to push you back into this wicked ass world. That's why it says, lest the root of bitterness spring up in you. Because eventually a man that isn't diligent in his truth, he'll become idle, Satan will take over, and then ultimately he'll fall out and go back into the world. Alright? That's why it's important to continually plow, to continually work, and to continually push out these videos and be in the spirit, so that the wicked one doesn't overcome you.
This is Matthew chapter 6, we'll start at verse 19. It says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doeth corrupt.
So the scripture said, lay not upon yourself treasures on the earth, where moth and rust doeth corrupt. So the treasures on the earth are talking about treasures that moth and rust can corrupt. A garment can become moth-eaten. Moth-eaten garments. Gold, silver, and other things in this world can become corrupt through rust. So those are earthly treasures. Those are things that are desired by the flesh. Which in the flesh we have various desires, but those things are not supposed to be treasures to us. those are not things that we're supposed to set our eye or our mind upon as being the most important, as being the most important thing in this world. But rather what?
It says, and where thieves break through and steal.
When thieves break through and steal, a thief can break in your car and steal your phone. A thief can break in your lock and steal your phone. You can break into your car, your lock, or your house, and take your clothes and take your children. Go ahead, bro.
But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven,
Lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven. Go ahead.
where neither moth nor rust doeth corrupt.
So moth and rust cannot corrupt treasures that are stored in heaven, because those are not material things. Those are spiritual things. A person can buy a car. Oh, I love this car. Ain't she a beauty? Guess what? Only a matter of time. That car gotta get you. Only a matter of time. You need an oil change in that car. The tie rod gonna break. Something is gonna happen. That car eventually is going to become corrupt over time, because that's a material treasure. But spiritual treasures can never corrupt, because they're spiritual. It's everlasting. So spiritual treasures are things like faith. That's spiritual treasure. Wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Those are the treasures that we're supposed to store in heaven. A moth can't corrupt that. Rust can't corrupt that. He can't break through and store that. Go ahead.
When it says, and when thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is.
So wait a minute, you can't break through and steal in heaven. So why are they trying to say Satan trying to grab all of these angels and go against the Most High? Come on, man. That's a good description. Yeah, bro.
It says, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
Right, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Meaning, whatever it is that you treasure, there will your heart or your mind be focused on. So they got a term called the apple of your eye. Doesn't mean you actually got an apple on your eye. No. The apple of your eye is something that you cherish. But it's talking about the eye of your mind. Eye represents understanding. If I say, oh, I see what you mean, doesn't mean I really see words come out of your mouth. No, I see what you mean, meaning I understand with my mind. I perceive with the mind what it is that you're saying. Right, move to that. Right.
This is Luke chapter 21, verse 34. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and the cares of this life.
And we gotta take heed to our own selves. We gotta watch our own steps. We gotta take heed to our own actions. Take heed to our own deeds. We gotta take heed to our own habits, lest we be engulfed by the cares of this world. And if you go to the scriptures, speak about the seed that's sown among thorns. What happens? The seed that's sown among thorns, eventually the thorns choke the word. But if you take a seed and you plant it in soil that's right under a bush full of thorns, eventually what happens is when that seed begins to grow, when it grows, it's going to get caught up in those thorns. The thorns are going to stunt the growth of that seed, which is going to cause that growth to become stagnant. There's no progression. That's how you get entangled with the affairs of this world. More to that?
It says, and so that
You
day,
gotta take heed to your own self. You gotta understand your own self. You gotta have balance in all things. It's like if you look at the game of rock, paper, scissors. Rock beats scissors. Scissors cut paper, and paper's cut with the rock. But guess what? Each one conquers the other. They all balance. Each one conquers the other. It's all balance. Like the world. Just like ourselves have to be all balanced. You can have one thing that has to conquer. There's more to that?
it says, and so that day come upon you
Because
unawares.
rock paper scissors may seem like a child's game, but sometimes you learn more from games than you do books. We ain't talking about the book of the Bible, of course, but you understand what I'm doing with me. Continue, bro.
For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole
A
earth.
snare, a trap, will come upon all them that dwell upon the earth. All those that dwell upon the earth are ensnared by the things of this world, the fame, fortune. See, things that are of the world are things that are hollow, meaning empty. They're frail, meaning they're weak. They're fleeting, meaning they're here 1 minute, going the next. People get ensnared by those things, but guess what? Something that's hollow is empty, something that's frail is weak, something that's fleeting is here 1 minute, going the next, meaning all of it is temporary. None of it is continual. None of it is everlasting like the kingdom. Go ahead.
It says, watch ye therefore and pray always,
watch and pray always. So you gotta watch. It's not talking about a Rolex. I want a Rollie, that's a stupid song. I hate that damn song, man. It's not talking about an actual Rolex on your wrist. But it says you gotta watch. Then you gotta watch the current events. You gotta watch the signs. All right, brothers. You gotta watch the current events. You gotta watch the signs. So it said, watch what?
That ye may be.
Before that.
It says, watch ye therefore and pray always.
Watch and pray always. You gotta watch as well as pray. You gotta do both. Because if you're just praying and you're not watching, you're praying for the Most High to speed this thing up, but you're not watching the current events to see if you're getting closer. You look at the current events and you see things getting closer, but you're not praying. That means you're just watching. Do you really believe? So you gotta do both. You gotta be balanced. Right?
That ye may
That's why I mentioned rock, paper, scissors. Right?
that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass.
That you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that have come to pass. So all these various things that Most High has given us in the scriptures as signs by the word of his prophets, his apostles, and by the word of his son Yahushua, we gotta escape all of them different perils that's to come. But we gotta watch as well as pray. We gotta have faith. We gotta believe. If you feeling weak in the spirit, you gotta fast. If you have, you're gonna study in a while, you ain't doing a show in a while, fast. You need 24 hours. No eating, no drinking, nothing. Yeah.
And to stand before the Son of Man.
And he stand before Yahushua. Let's speak about that in the book of Ezra. It said this one man was pulling the rest. What was that?
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 43. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who had ears to hear, let him hear. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in the field.
So the kingdom of heaven is like treasure that's hid in the field. A person takes treasure and they dig it under the ground. It's somewhere here, but you don't know where it's at. Go ahead.
The which when a man had found,
But when you find that treasure that's hidden in that field, what happens?
he hid it.
You hide that treasure. Oh shoot, I found a treasure. Let me go put it over here and safekeep it. Go on.
And for joy thereof goeth and selleth all that he had.
So you go, the treasure hidden in the field, you find that treasure, you hide it somewhere to take safekeeping, nobody can take it, and then with joy, you happy, you drunk, you just found some treasure hidden in the field. And with joy, what?
And with and for joy that goeth and selleth all that he had and buyeth that field.
And then guess what? You so joyful, you take everything that you have and you sell it to buy that field. Because you know if that treasure is hidden in that field, it may be more. Go ahead.
Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant
That's
man.
the kingdom of heaven is likened unto. It's likened unto a treasure that you greatly desire and that you'll give everything up to attain. That's why the scriptures tell you, he that loveth father or mother, son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Because you're not willing to give everything up. Guess what? We got families that know what we believe, and once they find out what we believe, they flip. Everybody had an issue. Everybody became a Bible expert. Everybody became an Illuminati expert. Everybody became a Bible expert all of a sudden. Family members that never recorded the Bible scripture in your whole entire life, they got a Bible, the Bible sitting on a nightstand, collecting dust. It's been closed so much, you open up the pages all sticky and stuck together.
Stiff.
You know what I mean? Now all of a sudden they become a Bible expert. Now all of a sudden everybody's a prophet overnight. But you gotta be willing to give all those things up to a person to purchase something that's rare. Go ahead.
Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking gully pearls.
It's like unto a merchant man seeking gully pearls. A man that does business seeking things that are precious. Go ahead.
Who when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had.
When he found one pearl of great price, he went and sold what he had, go ahead,
and bought it.
and bought it. Once again, he gave everything else to purchase something that he thought was of greater value. Well, like an example, if you go to how, if you know how pearls are produced, pearls are actually produced when like a clam is in the sea and like something goes into it, it actually, the body actually causes it to form a pearl around whatever entered it to remove it. Because you know, they don't got arms, they don't got hands, they don't got paws, they can't move anything. Type in how a pearl is produced. Okay? You'll find, remember I did a show on it years ago. Alright?
Well, it says, pearls are made by marine oysters and freshwater mussels as a natural defense against an irritant such as a parasite entering their shell or
See?
damage.
If a parasite enters their shell or damages it, the body automatically forms a pearl around it. It forms a pearl around to remove it. Go ahead.
Or damage to their fragile body. The oyster or mussel slowly secretes layers of aragonite, aragonite and conchiolin materials that also make up the shell.
So different things that make up the shell and different types of material. And aragonite, as I mentioned, aragonite, and conchiolin, conch. It actually begins to form things around whatever irritant comes to the body. So it went through a form of suffering because the irritant went to it and did it produce pearl. See that? You got something? Go ahead.
This is Romans chapter 14, verse 5. One man esteemeth one day above another.
So one man esteems one day above another. Like us, we esteem one day above another. Let me give you an example. Day of Atonement just passed.
That's right.
You had to go a whole day without eating. Did y'all brothers do that?
Yep.
A whole 24 hours, no eating, no drinking, nothing, right?
Kind.
Okay? We esteem one day above another. Because why? Day of Atonement, the Day of Atonement is a high holy day. That day is above a regular average day. So we esteem one day above another day. Every day to us literally isn't the same. We got Passover, that's our holy day. Day of Atonement, that's a holy day. Go ahead. The Sabbath. Go ahead.
Another esteemeth every day alike.
But another esteemeth every day alike. Means another to him, every day is the same. One day to Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. It's all the same day to them. Why? Go ahead.
Let every man be fully persuaded in his own
Because
mind.
he's not fully persuaded in his own mind. Yeah. He has not yet to go to a certain level of the truth where he's keeping them different holy days. Keeping the Sabbath. So to him, every day is like the same, like regular old day. But let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind, meaning what? He gonna get it when it's time to get it. Put the 1 Corinthians 7 and 16. It should be 1 Corinthians 7 and 16. Try 2 Corinthians. Okay? Try 2 Corinthians. We're going to uncircumcised. Child 7:12. As of right now, get Acts 15 and 20. Get that for right now.
Acts chapter 15, verse 20. It says, but that we write unto them that they,
Not from verse 1.
this is Acts chapter 15, verse 1. And certain men which came down from Judea taught the brethren, and said, except ye be circumcised after the manner of Moses, ye cannot be saved.
So they were saying, wait a minute, unless you be circumcised like the man of Moses, you cannot be saved. Go ahead.
When therefore Paul and Barnabas had no small dissension and
disputation. They didn't just like disputation. 1 Corinthians 7:19. Up the top of the book.
this is Acts chapter 15, verse 1.
Yep.
And certain men which came down from Judea
So certain men came down from Judea. What did they say?
taught the brethren and said, except ye be circumcised after the manner of Moses, ye cannot be
If
saved.
you're not circumcised as the man of Moses, man, listen, you ain't gonna be saved. So he's telling you, you gotta keep the law to be saved. That sounds like somebody we know. It sounds like Nathan guys. So it said, except you be circumcised, you can't, by the law of Moses, you can't be saved. Go ahead.
It says, when
The
therefore,
book of Romans 4, chapter 2. Like that. Go ahead.
when therefore Paul and Barnabas had no small dissension and disputation With them,
So they have a small dispensation with them. So it was a big thing. Right?
with them, they determined that Paul and Barnabas and certain other of them should go up to Jerusalem unto the apostles and elders about this question.
So you know what? We can go to Jerusalem to the apostles, to the elders about this question, man. We can go and see what they got to say about this. Man, who was the apostles and elders? Peter, James, John. Right?
And being brought on their way by the church, they passed through Phoenicia and Samaria, declaring the conversion of the Gentiles. And they caused great joy.
Read it again. I'm sorry, read it again.
Acts chapter 15, verse 3. And being brought on their way by the church, they passed through Phoenicia and Samaria, declaring the conversion of the Gentiles.
So they're talking about the declaring the conversion of the Gentiles, but the Gentiles were Israelite foreigners. Right?
And they caused great joy unto all the brethren. And when they were come to Jerusalem, they were received of the church and of the apostles and elders, and they declared all things that the Most High had done with them.
So they spoke of all through the most holy, great works the Most High did. Right?
But there rose up certain of the sect of the Pharisees. But there rose up certain of the sect of the Pharisees which believed, saying that it was needful to circumcise them and to command them to keep the law of Moses.
Right?
And the apostles
So that Pharisees saying, man, look, we got to be circumcised. Right?
and the apostles and elders came together
They was going on. Right? We're going to break it down. Right?
for to consider of this matter. And when there had been much disputing, Peter rose up and said unto
There was
them,
much dispute. It was a big debate. Right? Peter rose up to do what?
rose up and said unto them, Men and brethren, ye know how that a good while ago the Most High made choice among us, that the Gentiles on my mouth should hear the word of the gospel and believe.
Because what did Peter do? Who did Peter go to? Cornelius. Right?
And the Most High, which knoweth
Who was an Israelite foreigner. Who he called a Gentile. Christian by my mouth.
And the Most High, which knoweth the hearts, bear the witness, giving them the Holy Spirit, even as he did unto us, and put no difference between us and them.
So the Most High put no difference between us and them. They got the Holy Spirit. He said we got the Holy Spirit. Right? But the world saying that's talking about other nations. No, it's talking about people that sound right, who had lost their way, who were being called by the names of other nations, who were calling themselves by the names of other nations, and who were keeping the customs, the practices, and traditions of other nations that they were scattered in. Speaking their languages, worshiping their gods, so on and so forth, who had abandoned their own culture, their own history, their own teachings of their ancestors, the Bible. Right?
Purifying their hearts by faith. Now therefore, why tempt ye the Most High to put a yoke upon the neck of the disciples, which neither our fathers nor we were able to bear?
Why you want to put a yoke upon their neck that you or your fathers or disciples could bear? What's that yoke upon their neck? Meaning what? Why are you trying to go and say they got to be justified by the law? That's something a yoke. It's like a yoke being put upon the neck. You take a yoke, you put it around the neck of the neck of an ox or the neck of an ass. Why is that? Because they got to pull that plow. So that yoke is being likened to what? The yoke is being likened to a burden. So why you gonna put a burden upon it that you and your fathers go to the disciples to bear? In other words, they couldn't keep it 100%. So why are you trying to go into them? Not to mention, you can't even do that. You put a yoke upon it and you can't even bear. How you gonna put a burden upon somebody's shoulders that you yourself can't carry? Or
But we believe that through the grace of the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, we shall be saved even as they. Then all the multitude kept silence and gave audience to Barnabas and Paul, declaring what? It says, then all the multitude kept silence.
see, he said, but we believe through the grace of Yahushua, we shall be saved. We shall be saved even as they. And that's the most saved.
Then
By grace are you saved and saved. It's the most high. It's Ephesians, I believe, what, 2 and 8. Right?
it says, then all the multitude kept silence and gave audience to Barnabas and Paul, declaring what miracles and wonders the Most High had wrought among the Gentiles by them. And after they had held their peace, James answered, saying, Men and brethren, hearken unto me. Simon hath declared how the Most High at the Acts 15 and 14, Simeon have declared how the Most High at the first did visit the Gentiles to take out of them a people for his name. And to this agree the words of the prophets, as it is written, after this I will return and will build the tabernacle of David, which is fallen, and I will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up, that the residue of men might seek after the Lord, and all the Gentiles upon
That's going to go back over all the tribes of people that happened there.
and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, saith the Lord, who doeth all these things. It says, known unto the Most High are all his works from the beginning of the world. Wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which from among the Gentiles are turned to the Most High, but that we write unto them that they abstain.
So hold on, this is what the Gentiles should do that turn to the Most High. Don't go and try to say they gotta be circumcised and keep on the laws, right? Just tell them this.
But that we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions of idols,
Don't worship no idols,
and from fornication,
adultery,
and from things strangled, and from blood.
don't eat animals that were strangled to death, don't eat things, don't eat blood. In other words, he told them don't worship false gods, don't commit adultery, don't eat things that are unclean. That's the beginning steps. That's what he told them. And that's what the first thing that you think when you come to the truth. You know, I stop worshiping that white Jesus. You know? Don't eat pork. Don't commit adultery. Those are things that should easily come. You shouldn't be in this thing for 1 month like, damn man, I committed adultery last week. Like seriously? You shouldn't be in this thing for a month and that's something you can't, it's hard not to do. Now the circumcision thing, that might be something that you can just do right away. You're like, damn man, they gotta go to the doctor, they gotta cut skin off, so and so. Some brother was fortunate enough to have that when they were born. Some brothers had to get it when they was old because their parents didn't circumcise them, hadn't had them circumcised. But if you're an Israelite man, you're supposed to be circumcised. That's in the law. But the Bible tells you to be circumcised the 9th day. Because right about that time of the 9th day, the body is producing a lot of vitamin K to prevent the people from bleeding death. They cause the blood to clot up. That's why it's the 9th day. Go ahead.
For Moses of old time have in every city them that preach him.
That's a good thing. So we know what he told them. In other words, you're not fully persuaded in your own mind yet. You just can't force something. Yeah, that's what that has to be.
That's 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 19.
Something like 16. See what that says.
1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 16.
Go ahead.
For what knowest thou, O wife, whether thou
17.
should...
Go to 17.
1 Corinthians 7 and 17. But as Yahweh had distributed to every man as the Lord had called every one, so let him walk.
So everybody's going to walk as the Most High calls them to walk. You're walking the truth, you're walking the Most High is giving you. Go ahead.
And so ordained I in all churches. Is any man called being circumcised? Let him not become uncircumcised.
So if any man is called to be circumcised, let him not become uncircumcised. Doesn't mean, oh, well, if you're circumcised, your foot's going to cut off. Don't become uncircumcised. Don't go in the garbage can and put it back on. That's not what that's talking about. He said any man is uncircumcised, let him not become uncircumcised. In what? If you're circumcised, now we got to go to another scripture. Now we need to book of Romans 2 and 25.
Is any called an uncircumcision?
Hold that real quick, right?
This is Romans chapter 2, verse 25. For circumcision verily profiteth,
Profit, meaning to gain. So circumcision really profiteth, man.
if thou keep the law.
So circumcision is keeping of the law. So if it is called in circumcision, let it not become uncircumcised. So cool, if you keep the law, don't become uncircumcised and start breaking the law. That's why we read a verse up and it says, you're going to be calling, you're called to this truth. Pick a verse up.
1 Corinthians 7 and 17. But as Yahweh had distributed to every man as the Lord had called everyone, so let him walk.
You're going to walk as the Lord has called you. Therefore, if any man be circumcised, let him not be uncircumcised. Meaning, you're going to walk the Most High has called you to walk.
guess what? If you're circumcised and you're keeping the law, don't become uncircumcised and start breaking the law. Okay. Romans 2 and 25.
Somebody get I want you to get Deuteronomy 10 and 16. Super fast. We have war out here. You know? Deuteronomy the 10th chapter and 16th verse. Let's see what that says.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 16. And it reads, circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked.
Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, be no more stiff-necked. The heart is talking about the mind. You're circumcising the foreskin of your heart, the foreskin of your mind. You're circumcising that foreskin, meaning you're removing that foreskin. Because when a person is circumcised, the foreskin becomes removed. So by circumcising the foreskin of your heart, you're removing that foreskin, you're removing those impurities from your heart. Therefore, by doing so, you are no more stiff-necked, meaning rebellious or stubborn towards the Lord's commandments that have been followed. So if you're moving that foreskin from your heart, in your mind, that means what? You're moving that rebelliousness, and therefore you're not being rebellious for the Lord, but rather you keep it. That goes back to being circumcised. That's why we ask to get that scripture. Go back to the Romans. This is Romans chapter 2, verse 25. For the circumcision,
This stuff you gotta know. Now years ago, now it's not like a chapter like I had like over before, but years ago, we was in 34th Street. You used to have people coming up. You know, you out there teaching and somebody come up, they know something, but they might actually know something. You know what I'm saying? They might actually know something. You might be going snap. Well, in the spirit out there, y'all watching that shop, brothers that was in the truth at a certain level. You're not like, oh snap, this guy knows something, I'm so scared. No. But some people may come up with no stuff. And they actually read the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta know how to break the scriptures down.
right? Verily, Romans 2 and 25, for the circumcision verily profiteth, and verily means truly, right? Profiteth if thou keep the law, right? But if thou be a break of the law, thy circumcision is made uncircumcision.
Wait a minute, if you break the law, your circumcision is made uncircumcision. Does that mean you broke the law and now miraculously the foreskin came back on your genitalia? They ain't talking about that. It said if you break the law, your circumcision is made uncircumcision. Because circumcision is keeping the law, therefore breaking the law is to be uncircumcised. Simple. More to that? Now is it? Now go back to the conclusion.
1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 18. Is any man called being circumcised? Let him not become
So we
uncircumcised.
already broke that down. So everybody's going to buy the calling that they called them. They're going to walk as the Most High, as Yahweh has called them, as Yahweh has called them before. So some of you circumcised, don't become uncircumcised. Right?
Is any called in uncircumcision? Let him not be circumcised.
Wait a minute, any call is uncircumcision, let them not be circumcised. That's why you got some people that come in uncircumcised. You let them become circumcised, meaning don't force the law upon them. You got to come into this thing gradually. Because you got to remember, Paul was a circumcision. Paul was a Pharisee. Paul was a circumcision. Paul was a doctor of the law. But did Paul become uncircumcised and stop breaking the law? No. Because people how you have to keep a feast. So Paul was still keeping the law. And that's how we know when it says don't become uncircumcised, it don't really mean what people would really mean keep your force and put it back on. Paul's an uncircumcised. Paul didn't become uncircumcised. Paul didn't start breaking the law. He was a Pharisee.
Circumcision is nothing, and uncircumcision is nothing.
Circumcision is nothing, and uncircumcision is nothing.
But keeping of the commandments of Yahweh.
See, that's now you're telling me what it is. Circumcision is nothing, and uncircumcision is nothing, but the keeping of the commandments of the Most High. That's what circumcision is. Right? So circumcision is nothing, and uncircumcision is nothing. It's the keeping of the commandments of the Most High. That's what it is. Right? So it's not that. It's not that if you circumcise. What verse you with? What you with?
I read 19.
7:19.
Yeah. Okay. Let every man abide in the same calling wherein he was called.
So every man gonna abide in the same calling wherein he was called. So if you call this the circumcision, you're gonna abide in that. If you call this as the uncircumcision, guess what? You're gonna abide in that. In other words, that you're supposed to clear in your own mind. Okay? Because circumcision is nothing and uncircumcision is nothing. You're going to body according to code, what you call it. Because circumcision is nothing more than what? It's a sign. Right? It's a symbol of the covenant or promise or agreement that the Most High made with Abraham. So if he's circumcised but he's not, it's just a symbol of the righteousness of the Lord, justification of the Lord. Alright? That's it on that? Now we can stop on that.
This is Romans chapter 4, verse 1.
The circumcision, it's not like, oh, if you're not circumcised, you ain't gonna make it. It's not like if you're circumcised, you ain't gonna make it. If you're uncircumcised, it's not like if you're circumcised, you're gonna make it. If you're uncircumcised, you ain't gonna make it. It's circumcision nothing, and uncircumcision nothing, because why? It's not gonna obstruct your salvation. Okay, go ahead.
Romans chapter 4, verse 1. What shall we say then? That Abraham our father, as pertaining to the flesh, have found.
So what should we say that Abraham our father, as pertaining to the flesh, has found? What does Abraham our father has found? Right?
For if Abraham were justified by works, he have whereof to glory.
So if Abraham was justified by works, he'd have whereof to glory. Meaning if Abraham was justified by works, he'd glory in the works. I'm Abraham. It's all about the Lord, the Lord. But guess what? Abraham didn't glory in the works. The works of the Lord, right?
But not before the Most High.
See, he be able to glory, but not before the Most High. He glory before men. Look, I keep all of these laws. It's not the glory of the Most High. But the glory is what? Faith, right?
For what saith the scripture? Abraham believed the Most High, and it was counted unto him for righteousness.
That's what made him righteous, not the works of the law, that he believed the Most High. And the Most High was going what? Give him offspring. And that offspring the Most High gave him was going to bring forth the truth of the promise. Abraham was going to have Isaac, who was going to have Jacob, who was going to bring up the child of Israel. That Abraham and Sarah was going to have a child in their old age. Go ahead.
It says, now to him that worketh is the reward not reckoned of grace, but of doubt, of death.
Of death. So him that worketh is the reward not reckoned or charged or counted up for grace, but of debt. What does it mean him that worketh? Him that seeketh to be stopped by the works of the law. It's not reckoned unto grace, because what? By grace being saved through faith. It is a gift of the Most High, that's Ephesians 2:8. So to him that worketh, it's not what?
It says, not reckoned of grace, but of debt.
But of debt, because guess what? If you seek to be justified by the works of the law, guess what? You are now in debt to keep the whole law. If you're in debt by the IRS, you got to pay them that money. You got to give it to them. So if you're in debt to keep the whole law, if you seek to be justified by the works of the law, guess what? You are now indebted to be justified. You are now indebted to keep the whole law. But you can't do it. It's impossible. Because why? If you break one law, you break all of them. Because in the law it said that the law itself says you're not supposed to break the law. That's in let's see if I can find it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 7. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 7. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works
Everyone that's saved and shall be able to escape by his works, man.
and by faith whereby ye have believed.
So you'll be saved by what? Sorry, read that one time slow.
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 7. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed.
Here you go, by faith whereby ye have believed. That's important. More to that?
This is Romans chapter 4, verse 5. But to him that worketh not, but believeth on him that justifieth the ungodly, his faith is counted for righteousness.
Give me, scripture to Deuteronomy, man. Deuteronomy. It says that it's about the break the law. Break all of them. Alright, Deuteronomy 27 and 26. Okay. What you gotta get?
This is Romans chapter 4, verse 5. But to him that worketh not, but believeth on him that justifieth the ungodly, his faith is counted for righteousness. It says, but to him that worketh not,
him that worketh not, meaning him that's not justified by the law, right?
but believeth on him
But believeth on him, how it died, that Jesus Christ is Lord also.
that justifieth the ungodly,
Justified the ungodly through faith. Why the ungodly is by through faith? Because we sin. So we gotta have faith in the Lord that He's gonna forgive us for the sin that we committed. So that we can go to the kingdom and save. Look, man.
his faith is counted for righteousness.
Man. Your faith is kind of righteous, man.
Even as David also describeth the blessedness of the man, unto whom the Most High imputeth righteousness without works.
So the Most High, David spoke about the blessedness of a man with the Most High imputing righteousness without works. Without works. So the Most High can impart righteousness upon you, not based upon your works. What does that mean? Just by through your faith, not by your works. Right?
Saying, blessed
And
are
this all ties into Acts 15 chapter. How they were trying to push the law on. But if you want to tell me you ain't all about it. Right?
saying, blessed are they whose iniquities are forgiven, and whose sins are covered.
And that's all in Psalms 32 and like 9. So it says, blessed is the Most High who what? If it's forgiven, it's in covered. That's right. Blessed is the Most High forgive you. How should I die for your sin? Cover your sin, right?
Blessed is the man,
Blood, right?
blessed is the man to whom the Lord would not impute sins.
Will not charge you being guilty of sin. That's why scripture called Israel innocent. Called it innocent. Because why? Our sins are forgiven, and now we're innocent, not guilty. This is that we committed under the law.
It says, cometh this blessedness then upon the circumcision only.
Does it come up on the circumcision only? Oh, except you be circumcised by law of Moses, you can't be saved. You know we read in Acts 15 chapter, right?
It says, or upon the uncircumcision also.
Is it on the circumcision only, or also upon the uncircumcision as well? Right?
For we say that faith was reckoned to Abraham for righteousness.
Right?
How was it then reckoned?
Right?
When he was in circumcision or in uncircumcision?
Verse 11.
Verse 10, Romans 14.
So it says, in verse 9 it says, that this blessedness, meaning not having your sin being imputed unto you, not being put to charge of sin, is upon the circumcision only, or upon the circumcision also. Because we say, faith was reckoned to Abraham for righteousness. How was it reckoned? How was faith reckoned or charged or counted for Abraham? Was it when he was in circumcision or in uncircumcision? Right?
It says, not in circumcision, but in uncircumcision.
Not in circumcision, but in uncircumcision. So just as the scripture has said, this blessing is come upon the circumcision only, or also upon the uncircumcision. Because remember, Abraham received that blessing, not while he was circumcised, not while he was on the circumcision, but the uncircumcision. Remember, the Most High told Abraham that his seed was going to inherit this land while he was uncircumcised. And Abraham what? He believed. And it was counted him as righteousness while he was uncircumcised. Then after that he began to keep the law of circumcision. Guess what? He says Abraham received righteousness in the eyes of the Heavenly Father based upon his faith while being uncircumcised. The Israelite foreigners are going to receive righteousness in the eyes of the Heavenly Father by faith, being uncircumcised as well. It says Abraham was found righteous in the eyes of the Lord while being uncircumcised because he had faith. The uncircumcision is going to be righteous in the eyes of the Lord because of their faith being uncircumcised as well. That's called a foreshadowing. A foreshadowing is a literary device, like a clipping is a literary device, a metaphor, a simile, a personification. A foreshadowing is a literary device meaning what? Something that has an indication beforehand, of what's going to happen in the future. So because Abraham was deemed righteous by his faith while being uncircumcised and will receive salvation, the Israelite foreigners are going to be righteous based on their faith while being uncircumcised as well and receive salvation. Go ahead. Does that make sense? Go ahead.
It says, and he received the sign of circumcision.
And he received it. Then he Got it. Go ahead.
It says a seal of righteousness of
A seal is a sign. If the ancient kingdoms had seals, they had crests. Seal, like when you get a letter from the government, it has the U.S. seal on it. It's a sign or insignia, a symbol of the United States. So it said what?
it said a seal of righteousness
That's a seal and a sign of righteousness to Abraham. Him being circumcised because he was righteous and believed. Go ahead.
of the faith which he had yet being uncircumcised,
The faith that he had yet being uncircumcised. Go ahead.
that he might be the father of all them that believe,
He might be the father of all that believe.
though they be not circumcised.
Will they be not circumcised? What the hell are the fools talking about in the book of Acts 15 chapter? You could be the father of them that believe, but though they were uncircumcised. So guess what? The uncircumcision can be justified as well through their faith, even if they're physically uncircumcised. Because you know how we know that? You have brothers that came in the camp who believed while they were uncircumcised.
That's right.
It wasn't like you're sitting there, you don't know what the hell going on, sitting there drooling, and then somebody put you on a stretcher, took you to the hospital, and you got circumcised, and you came back with a garment on. Next week, I believe now. No. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, bro.
It says that righteousness might be imputed unto them also.
Righteousness will be imputed or charged or accounted for to them as well. Go on. We're going to read the whole chapter. The rest of it. Go ahead.
It says, and the father of circumcision to them who are not of the circumcision only.
Exactly. We're not of the circumcision only. Because remember, you had the Israelite foreigners. They were of the uncircumcision. I wish I had that book on me in my own about the New Testament. You had Israelites that were of the uncircumcision. But these why the Apostle Paul. Oh, see, but wait a minute. Paul's saying this to the Romans, man. Yeah, but he's talking to Israelites living in Rome who are being called Romans based upon citizenship, man. You go to two epistles and letters, two epistles to the Corinthians, which are Israelites living in Corinth, being called Corinthians based upon citizenship, man. You go to the book of the epistle of Ephesians, because you got Israelites living in Ephesus, Greece, being called Ephesians based upon citizenship, man. Wasn't the Apostle Paul from Tarsus, Cilicia, right? That's where the Apostle Paul was from. But guess what? Paul said, I too am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham and the tribe of Benjamin. Even though he was from Tarsus, man. Even though he was from Cilicia, man. Because we study the scriptures of it.
That it says, but who also walked in the steps that faith of our father Abraham, which he had being yet uncircumcised.
Man. Who also walk in the steps of Father Abraham, who also have up being uncircumcised. They walk in the steps. In faith. So some of them are living in Rome, some of them are living in Greece, having togas. When Paul was living in Tarsus, and Cilicia, man, they moving around in togas. The Israelites around there who can grow beards but shave it off. They were priests of Jupiter. Right? Most other religions, but Jupiter is the Roman equivalent of the Greek god Zeus. Yeah,
It says, for the promise that
it's like Mercurius is the Roman equivalent of the Greek god Hermes, man. And then Hermes was also associated with many things. He was a messenger of the gods. But Hermes was also associated with boundaries and athletics. They even had gyms. And then I did a show years ago. One of the things, when you go to the book of Maccabees, it tells you that there was a gym that said it made them wear a hat. The hat was called the Picasso. And that was a hat that they would wear when they would go to the gym. Instead, nowadays you go to the gym, you got a Planet Fitness shirt on. You got a Blink gym shirt on. You got an LA Fitness shirt on. That's ancient Greek. The word gym, go back to the Greek word gymnos, means what? Naked. They was butt-ass naked in the gym. The Olympics, they was butt-ass naked. The Olympics was butt naked. They was wrestling naked. Throwing the discus naked. Or javelin, whatever they was doing at the time, it was butt-ass naked. It was boxing butt-ass naked. That's why ESPN, I believe it was, had like a naked issue. They had Tyson Chandler on the cover, butt ass nigga. Amari Stein, I think Amari Stein was on that butt ass nigga. They had a couple of WNBA players that were on butt ass nigga. I think Dwayne Wade was talking that butt ass nigga. Because they're athletes, and that goes back to the gym or the custom of ancient Greece, man. Because the word gym means naked. Because in the ancient world, there was butt ass naked in the gym. There was butt ass naked in the Olympics. You in a gym locker room, you got mob in Ephesus, they're butt ass naked. Go ahead.
It says, for the promise that he should be the heir of the world.
And I was speaking for a while. If I forgot what the last verse said. Go ahead.
This is Romans chapter 4, verse 12. And the father of circumcision to them who are not of the circumcision only, but who also walk in the steps that faith of our father Abraham.
Now the uncircumcision will also walk in the steps of faith. So that's circumcision and uncircumcision.
Which he had been yet
As long as they walk in the faith of Abraham,
uncircumcised,
which he had yet while being uncircumcised. Go ahead.
for the promise that he should be the heir of the world.
For the promise that he should be the heir of the world. Because of course I said that his seed was going to be like the sands of the sea. It started with God multitude. It was going to rule the world to come. You read the book of that, like 15, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 chapters around there. Genesis speaks about that. Go ahead.
It says, was not to Abraham or to his seed through the law, but through the righteousness of faith.
It wasn't to Abraham or his seed through the law. It was through the righteousness of faith. So just as Abraham through faith, his seed was going to receive the promises through faith and not by the law. Guess what? We're going to receive it through faith. Receive the promises through faith, not by the law. What Abraham got through faith, we will also achieve through faith. Promises, man. Being deemed righteous in the eyes of the Lord.
Right? It says, for if they which are of the law be heirs, faith is made void.
So if they which are of the Lord be heirs, then faith is made void. How would you spell heir? H-E-I-R?
Yes.
Heir. So if they which are of the Lord be heirs, then faith is made void. So it's not about the Lord, 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 Lord. Keep the Lord, 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 Lord. It's not about Lord. If they're going to be heirs, the heir is the one that's next to who? If I say you're the heir to the throne, like Jay-Z's second album, In My Lifetime Volume 1, or it's really going to be called Heir to the Throne. And I would assume because Biggie just died, I'm the king of New York. Because he had a song on the album called City is Mine. He was talking about Jay-Z, don't let your soul, I'm gonna hold it down, none of that bullshit. I ain't gonna say the whole rhyme, not the whole song by heart. But I get the truth of what I'm saying. An heir to the throne is the one that's next to who? So if they had what? Be who? Heir to the Lord be what?
It says, Romans 4:12, and the father of circumcision to them who are not of the circumcision only, but who also walk in the steps of that faith of our father Abraham, which he had being yet uncircumcised, for the promise that he should be the heir of the world.
For the promise that he should be the heir of the world, meaning he gonna rule the world, right?
Was not to Abraham or to his seed through the law.
It wasn't because he kept the law. Because remember, Abraham was given that promise by the Most High before he was even given the law of circumcision, man. So what the hell? Y'all don't read the Bible? That so-called other so-called camps, now you just put the Bible down and just watch GMS exclusively. Somebody to take your ass, strap you to a damn chair. There was this movie called The Clockwork Orange, and the dude's eyes was basically like stretched open like this. Somebody to take your ass and strap you down the chair, put some hooks on your eyelids, and make you just watch GMS videos exclusively, man. But just keep watching GMS videos for like a year straight.
It says,
Without blinking.
it says,
If you blink, you might miss something.
but through the righteousness of faith.
It was all through faith. Okay,
For if they which are of the law be heirs,
if they were to the Lord be heirs,
faith is made void.
then what's the point of faith? It's about the law. But remember, go back to Acts 15 chapter. What did it say? Acts 15 it said, why put your upon the neck that you, the fathers, of the second couldn't bear? So even if it goes about the law, it's impossible. because you can't even keep it perfectly, man. Go ahead.
And the promise made of none effect.
And the promise is none effect. So you just take the promise and throw it in the garbage can. If it's about the law, because guess what? You're never going to receive the promise trying to keep the law. Yes,
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27, verse 26.
go ahead.
Cursed be he that confirmeth not all the words of this law to them.
Cursed be he that confirmeth not the words of the law. To him.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27, verse 26.
Yeah.
Cursed be he that confirmeth not all the words of this law to them. To do them.
To do them, yeah, I figured that. To do them. So you cursed if you don't confirm all the words of the Lord to do them. All of them. Somebody said, yeah, man, I keep this law, that law, that law, this law. I don't eat no pork or nothing. Wait a minute, hold on. You just went to the pizza shop yesterday. And then you, but no, I had a regular slice of pizza. I ain't had no pork, no pepperoni or nothing. But according to the law, if the carcass of any unclean thing touches the stove, any range, like you know how you go on the stove, and you got the different things you put the pans on over that.
Burners.
The ranges, the burners, as you want to call it. If any unclean thing touches that, guess what? A pot or a pan, you gotta break it up. You gotta smash it up and throw it out. So even if you got a regular pizza, it still went in the oven that a meatball sub went into. They got this beef. We got pigments and pork in it. You probably live with your mother. You just came in the camp, you're 19 years old, 18 years old. You probably live with your moms. Your moms eat pork. You in the morning, yeah, man, my mom's eating pork. Man. So I got some, I'll eat pork, I got some turkey sausage. Wait a minute, hold on. You using the same pan your mom to cook some ham on 3 days ago. You gotta get rid of it. You gotta get rid of it, man. I was talking to my trainer not too long ago, like 2 weeks ago. Him and his wife, he was out working out. She was like, yeah, man. She was like, I remember years ago, she was like how because she was talking about the man that trained, but he worked out with his wife all the time. They in the Black Belt Hall of Fame. They like martial arts and all of that. And she was talking about like pork and all that other shit, all that other stuff. And she was like how her mom ate pork back in the day. She wasn't eating no pork. And she was like, so she went and she got some new pots and pans just for her food. She like her mom invited company over, and I guess she wanted to show off the new pots and pans and cook with them. And she was like damn pans and pots or whatever. Just came in the house, she said that low. So she took the shit, threw out the front window. So I took out the damn window, man. My family members all calling me, talking about some. My family members talking about some. Oh, I'm crazy. Oh, I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying?
He's on point.
Cause she's like 60 something, and her husband's like 70. She's like 67, he's like 73, 74. He's like, man, she like threw out the damn window, man. You know what I'm saying? Who's reading?
It says, and all the people shall say, Amen.
In other words, some let it be.
This is Romans chapter 4, verse 15. It says, because the Lord worketh wrath for...
Yeah, Lord working wrath. Because if you break the law, that brings wrath to the Most High. I know I said yeah out of nowhere, but that's true. You break the law, you bring a working wrath to the Most High. You know what I mean? Right?
For where no law is, there is no transgression.
Right? For where no law is, there's no transgression. And I don't mean, oh, there's no law, there's no transgression. So the scriptures don't say you can't eat doodle. The scriptures don't say you can't, do this, that, and the other. It don't say that, so why can you just do it? It don't mean that. When it says there's no law, there's no transgression. Because that means, there's a certain aspect of you being able to do what the hell you want to do. It says when there's no law, there's no transgression. Meaning what? When Abraham received the promise, he received the promise based upon faith. He didn't receive the promise because he kept the law. So if Abraham not received the promise, it wouldn't have been because he broke the law, it would have been because he lacked faith. So it wouldn't have been because he transgressed the law, because no law was given to him to not receive the promise.
That's right.
Had he not received the promise, it would have been because he lacked faith. And read it again, I'm going to say it again slow. Go ahead.
This is Romans chapter 4, verse 15.
It took me a while to figure out what that scripture meant too.
It says, because the Lord worketh wrath,
The spirit of outside, of course, go ahead.
for where no law is, there is no transgression.
Where no law is, there's no transgression. So that Abraham not received the promise, it would not have been because he transgressed the law. Had Abraham not received the promise, it would have been because he lacked faith. Because remember, Abraham received the promise before the law of substance was even given to him. So had he not received it, it would not have been because he broke the law, because he received the promise before that through faith. Had he not received the promise, it would have been because he lacked faith. That is what would have prevented him from receiving the promise. Just like now, if we don't receive the promise, it's not because we broke the law. You break laws every day. If you don't receive the law because you lack, if you don't receive the promise because you lack faith, that's what that's talking about. Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is Ephesians chapter 2. Ephesians.
It's the book of Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8. For by grace are ye saved through faith.
By grace are you saved through faith. Faith. Grace and mercy are like synonymous of one another. See, if you gotta pay your car insurance on the 15th, but they're giving you to the 20th, and if you don't pay it on the 20th, you gotta pay a late fee, that's a grace period. They're giving you a time period to get yourself right. So guess what? By grace are you saved through faith. We have a grace period to get ourselves right. A grace period to get our faith up until the Lord comes. This is the grace period right now. We constantly build up in faith every day. The Most High is showing us grace, giving us the time period to get it right. The Most High has had the mercy upon us. Mercy is having the power to punish someone, yet refraining from doing so. If I punch a guy in his face and knock him down, and then I hit him 8 times, and he all like, I don't know if you ever seen a wire, but the scene in the wire with the dude Chris Barlow, he pissed off the hell out of this dude, man. He pissed off the hell out of a dude named Buck Fowler because he was molesting him. He said, Now, if he would have stopped hitting him after a while, he would have shown the mercy. Because mercy is having the power to punish someone, yet refraining from doing so. The Most High got the power to punish us now, but he's refraining from doing so because he's opening the door of mercy, giving us grace, so we can be saved in the faith that we have in his son, Yahushua. Go ahead.
And it's the book of Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8. For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves.
Not of our own selves, not of the law. That's what it says, not of your own selves, not of the law. See, I'm keeping the law, see? I'm always keeping the law, never go off. I'm the most righteous man in the world. Some asshole, I gotta call him an asshole, he came up to the camp and said that years ago. He said, God knows I'm the most righteous man in the world. I said, I hope that nigga dead, man. Saying that, man. What the hell wrong with you? You a wicked ass Negro for that. He said, God knows that I am the most righteous man upon earth. The nigga had a bald head, man, the shaved face. And I think he was a Hamite. He could have been a Benjamin or something like that. I think he was a Benjamin, but he kind of had that Hamitic, mystique about himself. Yeah, bro.
It is the gift of the Most High.
It's a gift, man. Faith is a gift. You gotta, Most High gotta give you. Most of that is it. Let's do it, man. Okay.
This is 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 16. As free and not using your liberty for a cloak of maliciousness.
We're free, we're not using our liberty as a cloak of maliciousness. Because what? We're in a grace period right now. We're not using this liberty we got right now to get ourselves right before the eyes of the Lord for a cloak of maliciousness. You know what? Since y'all in the grace, you know, we go over, we can be forgiven. You know, let me have a ham sandwich. You know, let me get a ham and cheese. Like you come out, you normally get a sausage, egg, and cheese from the store, right? Beef sausage, egg, and cheese from the store. And you go to the store, you want to buy something, but you get the spirit to get some ham, a ham and cheese. And you go in the store, you look around, you're like, well, damn, I don't want no brother to pop up out of nowhere. So you go looking around, and you like this, like looking around, you know, you're looking around. You know, let me get a ham and cheese, pop. All right, let me get a ham and cheese, pop. Because guess what? You'll try that and the brother will just walk up in the store. Most times do that, bro. Most times.
They call it smoking.
Yeah. The most times do that. Yeah. Most times do that, man. You know what I'm saying? You think you, and even if a brother don't see, the Most High always see.
That's right.
He's going to tell you in the book of Sirach, such a man feared the eyes of men, but not knows that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. Why? Because the eyes of the Lord are the angels. Why did it say the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun? See, look, the sun is shining right now. See it, right? The sun isn't really shining over here because we're in the shade. The eyes of the Lord are the angels are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, meaning what? The sun is bright, but there's certain places the sun's like candy. The eyes of the Lord, meaning the angels of the Lord, are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, meaning they cover all places. They're everywhere. There's nowhere you can go to escape their line of sight. Which goes into the omnipresence of the Most High. Omni meaning omnipresent, like omnipotent. Omnipotent means all powerful. Omniscient means all knowledge, or all knowing. Omnipresent means he's everywhere. That's why his name is Yahweh. Meaning what he is. He to be, he is everything. The Most High is all things. It tells you that in the book of Psalms, 139th chapter. Where will I go where I can escape? Where I can keep from his presence? Thou knowest my down sitting and uprising, and understand my thoughts fall off. If I descend into hell, be a bit of the grave, thou art there. He's everywhere.
It says, but as the servants of the Most High.
Speak that verse again, I'm sorry.
This is 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 16. As free and not using your liberty for a cloak of maliciousness.
So don't use this liberty to be a damn nigga, in other words.
But as the servants of the Most High.
But as the servant of the Most High, being righteous is the servant of the Most High. They'll be righteous, do what the scripture says. They just faith, pray the Most High, from the soul, brother.
Romans chapter 4, verse 16.
Yep.
Therefore, it is of faith that it might be by grace.
Therefore, it's of faith that it might be by grace. We just read that. So we even got to put that down. By faith, it will be by grace. It's a grace period that we have. Because why? By grace, are you saved through faith? You get the Most High. So by what? We never again.
It says, therefore, it is of faith that it might be.
Verse 15. Verse 14.
Romans 4:14. For if they which are of the law be heirs, faith is made void, and the promise made of none effect.
We already broke that down, man.
Because the law worketh wrath, for where no law is, there is no
So
transgression.
when no law is, there is no transgression. Had Abraham not received the promise, it would not have been because he transgressed the law. Had he not received the promise, it would have been because he lacked faith. Because when he received the promise, the law was being given unto him. Read the next verse.
Therefore, it is of faith that it might be.
Therefore, it is of faith. So that right there is carrying up what we just broke down. He said, therefore, it is of our faith. No, but there's no law, there's no transgression. Therefore, it is of faith. Go ahead.
It says that it might be by grace,
Go ahead.
to the end the promise might be sure to all the seed.
To the end, the promise might be sure to all the seed. The older seed will receive the promise. Because eventually all Israel is going to make it to the kingdom. It's the truth. They're going to have to die, but they're going to all make it to the kingdom. Right?
Not to that only which is of the law, but to that also which is of faith of Abraham,
Not to that only which is of the Lord, right?
who is the father of us all.
Not to that only which is of the Lord, but to that also which is of the faith of Abraham. So those that, when they are the circumcision, born circumcision, as long as they believe, they're going to make it. And it says,
To the end the promise might be sure to all the seed, not to that only which is of the law, but to that also which is of faith of Abraham, who is the father of us all. As it is written, I have made thee a father of many nations. Before
exactly, many nations, talking about the tribes. They ain't talking about Esau. Abraham ain't the father of Esau. Now Esau came out of Isaac, came out of Esau, but Esau is not of that line. The fathers of the promise. That's the so-called scholars called the fathers of the promise. Abraham is the father of Isaac, the father of Jacob, the father of the 12 tribes. Right? Let's move over here.
it says, Romans 4:17, as it is written, I have made thee a father of many nations, before him whom he believed, even the Most High, who quickened the dead, and calleth those things before him believed, even the Most High, who quickened the dead.
Quicken means to make alive. When a baby's kicked in the mother's womb, it's like to quicken. It's like a sign of life to on me. Right?
And calleth those things which be not as though they were.
The Most High calls those things which be not as though they were. In other words, When the Most High called upon light, there was no light. But he called on it as if it were, as if it did exist and it came into existence. He called those things that are not as though they were. So things that were not, the Most High brought it into existence. Right? Who would get talking about the power of the Lord right here, man? Because it says, because why I talk about that? Because it says, Abraham was the father of us all, before whom he believed, even the Most High who quickened the dead. So now I just tell you, he believed the Most High who quickened the dead. Who called those things to be not as though they were. This is telling you that about the Most High. Man, this is the God that he believes, the God that does these things. Go on.
It says, who against hope believed in hope.
Yeah, he believed. Who against hope believed in hope. He believed in hope that in his old age, in Sarah's old age, they'll be able to bring forth children. And they brought forth Isaac. Right?
It says that he might become the father of many nations. According to that which was spoken, so shall thy seed be.
Because many nations eventually did come out of Abraham. That is true. But that line came out of Abraham, that chosen line, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the 12 tribes. Go ahead, brother.
And being not weak in faith,
He wasn't weak in faith, Abraham. He wasn't weak in faith. Right?
he considered not his own body now dead,
Yeah, what did it mean? He considered his own body now dead. Meaning what? It don't mean he was dead actually at that moment. He was an old man. His body is now dead at this point in time before writing this, yeah. But his own body at the time he was old. He's at the age where people at that time would be considered infertile. That's the reason why Sarah didn't think they would be able to have a child. Right?
when he was about 100 years old, neither yet the deadness of Sarah's womb.
See? That's why I said his own body now dead due to the deadness of Sarah's womb. He considered not. He didn't. He said, man, yeah, I know I'm old. Yeah, I know Sarah's old. But guess what? I believe in Most High. Right?
He staggered not at the promise of the Most High through unbelief.
He didn't stagger at the promise of the Most High through unbelief. He didn't say, man, I don't know, man. He didn't stagger, meaning he didn't doubt. He didn't lose balance. He wasn't shooken up, in other words. At the promise of the Most High through unbelief. The Most High said he's going to bring with me a seed. Read the book of Genesis 15:1. Genesis 15 chapter.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 15, verse 1. After these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield, and thy exceeding great reward. And Abram said,
The shield meaning protective or defense.
And Abram said, Lord power, what will...
Abram means Abram, right? Abram means exalted father. Right?
And Abram said, Lord
His
power.
name was not yet changed to Abraham, but his father of multitude, because he didn't have a multitude of people yet. He didn't have Isaac, go for Jacob, go for 12 tribes. Right?
And Abram said, Lord power, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless?
Right, what will you give me seeing I go childless? And I believe we go back to the 12th chapter, it speaks about Abraham receiving that promise. The land that you in, your children are going to inherit this land. Just proofread Genesis 12 real quick to see if that's it. Keep reading now.
And Abram said, Lord power, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless? And the steward of my house is this, Elijah of Damascus.
And the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus. So all I have is this steward, this servant named Eliezer, who's from Damascus. What are you going to give me? I thought I was going to have a seed, Most High.
And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir.
Do that again?
And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thy own bowels shall be thine heir.
So he says, all I have is Eliezer of Damascus. He says he's not going to be your heir. I mean, he's not going to be the heir of his promise. That which shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir. I mean, that which come forth out of you. You're going to give birth, or not birth. You're going to bring it forth into the world, the seed is going to be the heir to the promise. Keep reading, bro.
And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thy heir, but he that shall come forth out of thy own bowels shall be thy heir. And he brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be. And he
This
believed.
seed is going to be like the stars in the sky, multitude. I mean, innumerable.
And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to them for righteousness.
So it say he believed, and it was counted in righteousness.
And he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees to give thee the land to inherit it. And he said, Lord power, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, Take me an heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these.
Now read the top of that chapter. I mean, top of
It's in Genesis chapter 12, verse 1. It says, Now the Lord has said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country and thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee.
There you go. Yeah.
And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that they bless thee, and curse them that curseth thee, and in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed.
There you go. So Abraham was leaving out of Ur of the Chaldees. Abraham was leaving out of the Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan. So Abraham's journey was bringing him to that land that his seed was going to inherit. Yeah, bro.
So Abram departed as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot was with him, and Abraham was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarah his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran, and they went forth to go into a land of Canaan. And into the land of Canaan they came. And Abram passed through the land unto the place of Shechem, unto the plain of Moreh. And the Canaanite was then in the land.
So what's the land of Canaan and what happened?
And the Lord appeared unto Abram and said, Unto thy seed will I give this land.
Unto your seed will I give this land. So they came to Canaan, and went to Canaan, what's that? See this land? I'm going to give it to the seed. Right?
And there builded he an altar unto the Lord.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
So this is Romans chapter 4, verse. This is Romans 4 and 18. This is Romans 4 and 20. He staggered not at the promise of the Most High through unbelief, but was strong in faith, giving glory to the Most High, and being fully persuaded that what he had promised, he was able also to perform.
And that's why we went to Genesis 12. We're going to go into the land of Canaan and see we get this land. And then later on, in the 15th chapter, he said, What you going to give me? Well, I got to serve for Damascus. And that was coming out of that own bow. Be your own offspring. You're going to be the heir to the promise I'm going to give you. He believed in those promises, right?
And therefore it was imputed to him for righteousness.
See? It was imputed in righteousness. He believed it, right?
Now it was not written for his sake alone that it was imputed to him, but for us also, to whom it shall be imputed.
It wasn't just for him, but for us also to be imputed on account of us as well. Having faith. Right?
If we believe on him, if we believe on him that raised up Yahushua our Lord from the dead, who was delivered for our offenses and was raised again for our justification.
We believe on him that raised up Yahushua our Lord from the dead. We gotta believe the Most High will raise Yahushua from the dead. Showing the Lord didn't raise the Most High. Which means the Most High and the Son are two separate entities. Right?
Who was delivered for our offenses.
He was delivered for our offenses. He was delivered for the offense that we committed under him. He was delivered for our offenses. He was delivered up on the cross. And his blood was shed to cover the offenses, to cover our offenses.
It says, and was raised again for our justification.
He was raised again for our justification, that we were justified in faith. Because we believe on the Most High. We believe in Yahushua, who died on the sin, who died on the cross for our sins, that he rose again. That he will rise again.
This is Acts chapter 5, verse 31. Him have the Most High exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins.
Read that again?
This is Acts chapter 5, verse 31. Him have the Most High exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins.
So to him that most High exalted, to give repentance to Israel, his right hand, to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins. So the Most High did all of that for Israel to receive repentance, for Israel to receive the forgiveness of sins. It's only for Israel. He was raised for our justification, for us to be justified, for us to be found free from guilt.
That's right.
Okay. That's it. Alright, boy, what do you do?
Come. Get on the songs. Go right in. Go with it. This is Psalms chapter 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
Exactly. All right. So this is a perfect scripture to segue into what the brother was going into, man. Because at the end of the day, the Lord is only dealing with the nation of Israel, these people on this side, man. All right? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and the people that descend from them, well, guess what, man? You are the Lord's people, man. And that's why we're out here. And what did that scripture say? Read it again.
This is Psalms chapter 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
Exactly. He showeth his word unto Jacob. And what's Jacob? All right, well, Jacob is one of the forefathers, man. His name got changed into Israel, which means Yasha Allah in the Hebrew, in the Lashon Kodash, man, which means he is the prince of the power. All right? He said that the Lord was speaking with Jacob, man. Read it again.
This is Psalms chapter 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
Exactly, man. So he showeth his statutes unto Israel, man. The contents of this book are about the nation of Israel, man. And no other nation, man, is going to tell you.
He hath not dealt so with any nation.
Exactly. He had not dealt so with any other nation, man. All right? So when you got people over here talking about the Lord coming to save everybody, man, they don't know what they talking about, man. Because if that was the case, then what would be the point? All right? From the beginning, the Lord has had his chosen nation, man. Get Deuteronomy 7:6. Come on.
It's the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power.
Exactly, man. The Lord's talking to his people, Israel, man, again. And he said, you are a holy people. You are separate, man. You are separate. You're not like these other people, man. Go on.
The Lord thy power had chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
Exactly, man. So the Lord chose the nation of Israel to be a special people unto himself, man. All right? What does that mean unto himself, man? It means that these are the Lord's people. There's other people. That's them over there. But these are the Lord's people, man. And that's the people on this side right here, man. And guess what? With being the Lord's special people, being the Lord's special people requires us to be held at a different standard, man. Which is why the Lord gives us the law, statutes, and commandments. That's why the Lord gave us the dietary law. That's why the Lord gave us the laws that has to do with our appearance, with our garments, with our face, how we carry ourselves, man. How we carry ourselves in business. Because we not like these other people, man. The children of Israel not like these other people. They're special people, man.
It says, the Lord thy power had chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all the people that are upon the face of the earth.
Exactly, man. Above all people, man. Not just some people, not just, oh, you just above the Chinese, but when it comes to the white man, you're not above him. Nah, above all people, man. That's the designation that the Lord gave to his people, man. That they will be above everyone. There's no mortal man that would be above the nation of Israel, man. No other nation. God.
It's the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 1. Hear the word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Exactly, man. And there's a lot to unbundle there. Bring it back and slow it down with the shop. We're going to go line by line.
This is the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel.
Exactly. He didn't say, listen to this word that I brought against the world. All right? Because that's the problem with you people out here, man. That you think that the Lord's for everybody. And that's why your understanding of the Bible is all convoluted, man. That's why. That's one of the reasons why. Ultimately, it's because the Lord ain't dealing with you. But on a carnal level, the reason why you don't understand the Bible is because you're trying to apply it on a worldwide scale, man. But if you know anything about the scriptures, you know that the scriptures is only dealing with a specific nation. And in this specific scripture, guess what? He addressed that nation. And that was the nation of Israel, man.
Against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt.
Exactly, against the whole family, man. Meaning all 12 tribes, man. Meaning all of them. Meaning everyone. Meaning the entire family, man. The entire nation that he brought out of Egypt. What does that mean then? Well, when you read in Exodus, the Lord delivered the children of Israel from Egypt, man. From captivity in Egypt. So that wasn't the world that was in captivity in Egypt. That was the nation of Israel, man. And if you really slow down and read the scriptures how they're supposed to be read, and you got the Spirit on you, you would see this, man. Because this is clear. Go on.
Saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth.
Exactly. The Lord said to Israel, you only have I known in the families of the earth, man. So what are we talking about that the Lord's here to save everybody, man? We need to cut that shit out, man. Because the Lord is not here to save everybody. The Lord is here for a specific people, man.
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Exactly. So therefore, we're going to get punished for our iniquities. Why? Because that goes back to what I said earlier, man. Being the Lord's special people isn't just means that we could be all willy-nilly, man. The Lord has set us a standard, man. We are a standard on this earth. And when we break that standard, we're breaking the laws, statutes, and commandments that the Lord gave us. Guess what? There's going to be a price to pay, man. There's going to be a price to pay, man. And that's spoken about in Deuteronomy chapter 28, man. From 15 on down. It speaks about the blessings that we were going to receive. But it also speaks about the curses that we were going to be under if we broke the law, statutes, and commandments, man. Which we did. Which is why we're in the position that we're in right now, man. That was it.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 41, and verse 8. But thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend.
God, bring it back, Book of Shop.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 41, and verse 8. But thou, Israel, art my servant.
All right, that didn't say the world. That said, thou, Israel, art my servant. When someone is your servant, what do? They serve you, man. How do we serve the Lord? By keeping his law, statutes, and commandments, man. All right, by praying, by fasting, by trying to keep those high holy days to the best of our abilities, man. By trying to keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our abilities. Coming out here and doing the work. Doing our videos, man. That's how we serve our power, man. And guess what? He didn't say that to the world. He didn't say to the world to do this for him. He said the nation of Israel, man. He said, my servant, meaning mine, meaning possessive. So the Lord has a real personal and intimate connection with the nation of Israel, man. The connection is so intimate that it just so happens that this book is all about us, man. Because we're the only nation that really matters. When you go into the scriptures, man, we just read it in Deuteronomy, man. Chapter 7, verse 6.
Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend.
Exactly, man. Jacob, who he has chosen, man. And that goes back to that story in Genesis, man. All right? Jacob became the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel, man. All right? Go on.
Thou whom I have taken from the ends of the earth.
Salaki, can you go back to where it says something about my friend?
Isaiah chapter 41, verse 8. But thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend.
The seed of Abraham, right? Who is the Lord's friend, man. So, the Lord's relationship with our people, the people on this sign, it goes way back, man. It goes way back to the foundations of the earth, man. Way back to the foundations of the earth, if you really look into it, man. The Lord has always had a favorite people, man. He's always had a chosen of the chosen, man.
Thou whom I have taken from the ends of the earth, and called thee from the chief men thereof, and said unto thee, thou art my servant. I have chosen thee, and cast not, and not cast thee away.
Exactly, man. After all we've put the Lord through, man, he has still not casted us away, man. We are still his servants. All right? There was a lot of things that the Lord could have done, man. It's nothing for the Lord to bring a man alive. It's nothing for the Lord to make you rich, to make you poor. The Lord could have easily disinherited us, man. Taken our inheritance and made us just like the so-called white man. He could have made us just like the so-called Chinese men, which is the Moabites. All right, the Lord could have done a number on us, man. But guess what? The Lord's a man of his word, man. And he told us that we were going to be his people, man. And the Lord has not turned his back on us yet, man. That was it.
This is Leviticus chapter 25, verse 55. For unto me, the children of Israel are servants. They are my servants, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your power.
Exactly, man. So this scripture is an exact echo of what the brother just read earlier, man. We are the Lord's servants, man. Possessive, man. The Lord possesses us, man. We are his possession. We are his servants, man. It's like, you know, when you have a favorite pair of shoes or something like that, man. Those are your shoes. Ain't nobody gonna take them. These are my favorite. Well, the Lord has his favorite. And it's the nation of Israel, man. It's the nation of Israel.
This is Malachi chapter 1, verse 2. I have loved you, saith the Lord, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord, yet I love Jacob. This is Malachi chapter 1, verse 2. I have loved you, saith the Lord, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us?
Exactly, man, because that's the nation of Israel right there. The nation of Israel is a very ungrateful, hard-headed nation, man. The Lord has loved us. And guess what Israel says, man? Our nation says, when hast thou loved us, man? Knowing and not knowing all the miracles that the Lord has done for us, man. That's how our people are.
Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord, yet I love Jacob.
Exactly, man. Was not Esau Jacob's brother, yet he loved Jacob? Because Esau was the older one, right? So it's customary that your oldest son would be the one to get your, he'd be like the chosen one, man. But guess what? The Lord did away with that for this particular instance, man. He chose Jacob. He chose the children of Israel, man. All right? If the Lord was following the normal customs, Esau would have been the chosen. But it was not the case, man. Jacob was the chosen.
This is Romans chapter 9, verse 13. Well, I'm going to start at verse 12. It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
Exactly, man. So Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated, man. So the Lord had a choice, man. The Lord has always had a choice. He's the Lord, man. He's the director. He's the architect, man. He's everywhere. And he made a choice, man. His choice was to choose Israel at the end of the day. He didn't choose Esau. He didn't choose the other nations. He didn't choose Moab. He chose us, man, the people on this side. Which is why we're out here, man. We're out here to let you know that the Lord is coming back, man. And he's coming back for his people. And you better make sure you're on the right side when he comes back, man. Because he's not coming back with flowers. He's not coming back with hugs, man. He's coming back with blood. He's coming back with a sword, man. And that's why we're out here, man. We're ringing that bell, man. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and the people that descend from them, man. All right?
Check this out. Check this out, though. They can't make sure you're on the right side because the Most High is going to pick a side for them. Yeah, niggas.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and on a deeper level, like the brother said, man, they can't even do it, man, because the Lord is in control, man. The Lord has made his choice from the beginning, man. But that's why we're out here, man. We're out here fishing. We're out here fishing for the potential elect, man. The people of the Lord, man. The people who are gonna really praise the Lord, man. All right.
It's the book of John, chapter 15, verse 16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain.
Exactly, man. So there's a lot of people, especially females. This is real big with older females. They choose the Lord. Oh, Jesus is my man. Or God is my man. After they done, sucked and fucked half damn near the planet, all of a sudden now.
It done been in more laps than Carl Lewis, man. It done been in more laps than Usain Bolt.
God.
You know?
So after they done did all their dirty work, now Jesus is their man. Well, guess what, man? You don't choose the Lord, man.
He don't want your ass anyway, even if he did.
Exactly, man. Exactly. You don't choose the Lord, man. I mean, yeah, you don't choose the Lord, man. The Lord needs to choose you.
Right.
It is that simple, man. And that's another thing that 2/3 of our people and our people in general do not understand, man. That this is not about you making a choice, man. This is about you being called. And you're either called or you're not called. And it's that simple, man.
That whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it you.
Exactly, man. So what does being chosen come with, man? Being chosen comes with the benefit of being able to ask for anything, and the Lord is gonna take care of you, man. Obviously, I'm not talking about you're gonna ask for a Bugatti. You're gonna ask for, oh, the Lord, please drop a few mil in my bank account, But things of the spirit, man. Things of just for day-to-day life, man. Praying that you're gonna get home safe, man, after camp. Praying that you're gonna have money for your next meal, man. Praying that supervisor at work don't try to put that hell on you, man. That he give you, he lay off you, man. Things like that. Those are the things that the Lord, that you pray for the Lord to keep you, to sustain you in the spirit, man. Because we know that we in captivity right now, man. So these little things that we ask for, they seem small, but they keep us grounded in this truth, man. They keep us, they give us that reassurance that the Lord is here, man. The Lord is He's abiding by me, man. The Lord is here with me. And that's important, man. And that's what the benefit is of being chosen, man. Because again, we do not choose the Lord, man. I didn't just wake up and say, oh, I was gonna do this. Nobody here can say that. We were all called in a certain way, whether it's YouTube, whether you saw them before the YouTube era, and you saw the apostles out there at 34th Street or wherever they were at. Everyone came into this walk from a different way, man. And it was not because we decided we were gonna go and choose the Lord. The Lord just chose us, man. And Lord willing, we are the chosen of the chosen, man.
This is St. John chapter 3, I'm gonna start at verse 17. For the Most High sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
Exactly, man. There's a lot to unpack there, man. Because this is the scripture right after the famous John 3:16, man. All right? So read it again, Bakasha.
St. John chapter 3, verse 17. For the Most High sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
Exactly, man. So the Lord didn't send his only begotten Son, all right? Shall I read it again?
It says, St. John 3 and 17, for the Most High sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world.
Exactly. So he didn't send his only begotten Son into the world. Well, the word world there is cosmos. Okay, I didn't know if it was the other one. It's cosmos, man. And cosmos means what? A heavenly arrangement, man. A specific set of people, man. And who is that people? Well, we read in Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6, that the Lord has a favorite people, man. And then the Lord is a man that he shall not lie, man. And the Lord does not change. The Lord is not fickle, because the Lord is not a man. So it's consistent. The Lord is consistent, man. So the same people that he said were his favorite in these times, well, when the Lord came back and he got crucified, well, guess what? That's who he was here for from the beginning, man. That's who he was here for, the nation of Israel, man.
Well, it says, but that the world through him might be saved.
Exactly, so that the world through him might be saved. This isn't talking about the entire world, man. This is talking about that specific set of people, man. So specific. Because the scriptures already told you back in Psalms that the Lord ain't dealing with no other nation, man. The Lord is not dealing with no other nation. So by process of elimination, if the Lord ain't dealing with no other nation, and he's talking about the salvation of the world, then that word world doesn't mean what you think it means. It means something else. And when you go into the Greek, it's the word cosmos, which means what? A heavenly arrangement, man. A specific arrangement. And that's the nation of Israel.
That's the thing. The word cosmos, what I mentioned. You know? It means a certain segment, an orderly arrangement. When you look into the cosmos, or the stars, the sky, you got a multitude of stars, right? But a certain cosmos, or segment, or harmonious arrangement, make up the Big Dipper. A certain cosmos, a certain segment or arrangement, make up the Great Big. A certain cosmos, or certain segment, or harmonious arrangement, make up the Little Dipper. Even though there's a multitude of stars, there's a certain segment that make up those particular star constellations. My whole point of saying that is, just as there are different nations, the Most High chose a cosmos, a certain segment, or orderly arrangement, a certain group of people, a certain nation among various nations to be his own, which is Israel. The same way among all the stars in heaven, there are certain stars or certain segments that make up a certain constellation. It's no, that's right. That was a big deal. If you read a book about the world of marine biology, biology is the study of living organisms. Marine means underwater. Marine means water. Like submarine. Sub means under. Marine means water. So submarines go underwater. Do canoes go underwater? No. But submarines go underwater. So, if you read a book about marine biology, it's about marine biology, living organisms in the water. It's the world of marine biology, not the world of insects. You know?
That's a different world.
That's a whole different world. If LeBron James go on a football field, if a football player go on the basketball court, they in LeBron James world now. When Conor McGregor went in the boxing with Floyd, he was in Floyd world now. To me, Conor McGregor stepped into a portal, and all of a sudden, what the hell? This is Floyd Mayweather world. like back in the days, they had a cartoon called Bobby's World. Was it? He used to be riding in the tricycle, going down a hallway. I don't know if I remember it. A little white kid with a big ass head driving down a hallway on a damn tricycle. But it means actually another world. Oh, y'all in Floyd Mayweather's world now. You got like a Floyd Mayweather. The sun is like Floyd Mayweather's head. It don't really mean that. You in his world. You in his particular arena, if you will. But not even little. You're in his cosmos, his certain segment, his only arrangement of sports, which is combat sport, but specifically boxing. They had something called the wide world of sports back in the days. It dealt with sports. the ancient world. The ancient world, we're not talking about the present world. We're talking about the ancient world. So when you use the word world, you don't really gotta mean the whole world.
That's right.
And somebody, Dave Ruffin had a song called My Whole World Ended. And it was about a woman that left him. Does it really mean the whole world ended? It's talking about his world ended because of her. So come on, man.
This is Hebrews chapter 1, verse 2. I'm going to start at 1. It says, the Most High, who at sundry times and divers manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets. Verse 2, have in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he have appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds.
So right there it says worlds, plural. All right. So he made all the worlds that the brother was just talking about, man. All right. And who's that man he's talking about? Well, that's talking about Yahweh Shai, right? Bring back that verse.
This is Hebrews chapter 1, verse 2. Have in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he have appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the world.
Exactly, man. Yahweh Shai is the heir of everything, man. He's the heir of all things. And guess what? Through him, the Lord created all the worlds, man. The marine world, like the brother was going into, man. The insect world. The world of boxing. All right? These are all basic things, man, that if the Lord is really supping with you, you shouldn't even really dispute, man, because it just clicks. It makes sense, man. It makes sense. But guess what, man? These plantation Christians out here, they use that John 3:16 because it says the world, that the Lord came for the world, essentially, and they use that to justify or try to debunk what we're doing up here, man. But that just goes to show their ignorance, man. Their ignorance of the scriptures. Their ignorance of what the Bible is really about, man. Because this Bible, when you really get into it, it's a manual of life for the men of Israel, man. For the entire nation, but mainly for the men of Israel who are out here in these captivities, man. Just like the men were out there in the captivity under the captivity of the Romans, guess what? They were using the same manual, man. Maybe not as updated as it is now, but they were using a manual. That's what these scriptures are. A manual for the nation of Israel, man. This isn't just a book that you could just pick up and say, oh yeah, I'm gonna just be with I'm gonna be in the Most High's team now. Because again, like we read earlier, man, the Lord chooses you. You don't choose him, man. If the Lord don't want you on his team, guess what? You're not gonna be on his team, man. You're gonna have to be in the other team. And that's it, man. It's like when they used to play kickball out there in the schoolyard, man. You wanted to get picked. That's us right here, man. We're trying to get picked, man. We're trying to get picked. And we of the Lord's nation, man. We of his people. So how much more you people out here who are not the people on this side, man? You trying to get the Lord to pick you, guess what? The Lord ain't even looking in your direction, man.
This is Isaiah chapter 45, verse...
It's the book of Isaiah chapter 45, verse 17. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with the everlasting salvation.
Exactly. Israel is going to be saved in the Lord, man. Through his elect, man. Because this scripture does not nullify the fact that 2/3 of our people, 2/3 of the people on this side are going to be cut off and die, man. They're going to die in the thermonuclear fire, man. So through the nation, through his elect, man. But read it again, Sean.
It's the book of Isaiah chapter 45, verse 17. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end.
Exactly, man. A world without end, man. You know? The world without end. That's what we're looking to be a part of, man. That's the team we're trying to be in, man. It says everlasting salvation, man. Everlasting. Meaning it has no end, man. It just doesn't end. Imagine a time where it's just good all the time, man. We can't even imagine that. Just the concept of something being good the entire time. This world is so corrupt, and the goings of this world is so corrupt that we can't even say that enjoyed something for a long time without any hiccups, without a bad thing. What they say, oh, if things are going too good with your woman, then there's something wrong. Only in a backwards world would that make sense, man. Only in a backwards world would that make sense. But guess what? In the nation, in the kingdom of heaven, man, we're gonna be everlasting, man. Everything is gonna be good all the time for the nation of Israel, man. Because it's gonna be our time to rule, man. Because the scriptures say we're gonna be joint heirs with Yahweh Shai, man. Who the world didn't really call Jesus Christ, man. We're gonna be joint heirs with him.
This is Daniel chapter 7, verse 27. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. This is Daniel chapter 7, verse 27. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High.
Exactly, man. So who are the saints of the Most High? Get on, I think that's Psalm chapter 50, verse 5. Right? Because we need to unpack this, man. A lot of people just read over the scriptures, man. You got to go through it line by line, man. Here a little, there a little, man. It said the saints of the Most High. Well, who are the saints? We already went over the fact that the Lord is only dealing with the nation of Israel. So you know that it's not going to be just everybody. It's not just going to be the world. Get that right.
It's the book of Psalm, chapter 50, verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
Exactly, man. So it said, gather my saints unto me. That's the Lord, man. He said, gather my saints unto me. All right? So the Lord's saints are his. All right? And it said, gather them unto me. But who are these people specifically, man? Go on. Read it again, Michelle.
It's the book of Psalm, chapter 50, verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
Exactly, man. Those that have made a covenant with the Lord by sacrifice, man. And what is it talking about there, man? Well, prior to the age that we're living now, prior to Yahweh Shai, whenever you committed a sin, you would have to sacrifice and offer up a burnt offering, man, to cleanse you of your sins. And that was a pact, that was a covenant that the Lord made solely with the nation of Israel. So those people of the nation of Israel are the Lord's saints, man. Now let's come back over here. Come.
This is Psalms chapter 148.
Go ahead, bro.
This is Psalms chapter 148, verse 14. It says, he also exalteth the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him, praise ye the Lord.
Exactly, man. So the people that the Lord considers his saints, his servants, all right? These are people that are a great people, man. These aren't just a people that the Lord is just dealing with on a low level, man. Like, you know how you deal with someone with on a low level? Like, let's say someone at work, man, that you don't really, like, you know, you just, with them is work shit. Like, yo, we got to do X, Y, and Z, let's do it. Boom. After that, you go eat lunch with these people over there. Well, that's how the Lord is with his people, man. Obviously, the Lord made all the nations. And the Lord, all the nations are doing their thing, man. They, you know, they have their lives, they doing whatever. So the Lord sup with them at a certain level because they're alive, right? But at the end of the day, the Lord's chosen people are the ones who are gonna get all the gifts that comes with being the Lord's chosen people, man. It's the same thing, man.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 8. It says, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
Exactly, man. So bring it back to the shop.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance.
Exactly. So right there, boom. Perfect point. Perfect time to stop. The Lord, all this talk about we all in this together, the Lord is about the world. The Lord is about everyone coming together. Well, God is going to save everyone on the planet. Well, guess what, man? The Lord is about separation from the beginning. Because did not the Lord say he had a chosen people? So he's about separation. The Lord separated the nations and he gave them their own inheritance, man. So the Lord gave them their stuff, man. What?
When he separated the sons of Adam.
Exactly, the sons of Adam. That's a code word or another term for the sons of men, man, just the other nations.
He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
Exactly, and even when he was separating these nations and giving them their inheritance, guess what? That was all based on the number of the children of Israel, man. That was all based on Israel, because at the end of the day, these other nations are here to serve us, believe it or not. It might not look like it right now because we're at the bottom. But guess what? Part of the kingdom of heaven is what? Having dominion over these other nations, man.
It says, for the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
Exactly, man. So the Lord's portion is his people, man. Jacob. It goes back to the sign, man. It goes back to the 12 tribes of Israel, man. The people on this sign, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and the people that descend from them, man. That's who the Lord is dealing with, man. Now go back to Daniel. Come.
This is Daniel chapter 7, verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
Exactly, man. Because right now, the people looking at us, man, we look crazy. Because we're out here talking about how the Lord has chosen us and how we're the Lord's chosen people. And we're out here, and first of all, ain't nobody really listening. And second of all, we just regular people. We men. And then they look at us, they look at how we look. They look at, this guy's a so-called black man, this guy's a so-called Hispanic man. We at the bottom, man. But guess what? The Lord's saints, they're gonna take the kingdom, man.
They got on dresses.
Oh yeah. They got on dresses. They don't got no shape-ups. They not fly. These can't be the Lord's people, man. Well, guess what, man? These are the Lord's people, man. And even though we're in the bottom right now, what did that say, man?
And you know what's gonna fly? A missile right on your head. That's just gonna fly, right?
That's right, man. The saints of the Lord shall take the kingdom.
This is Daniel chapter 7, verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
God, man. So the saints of the Lord, man, the saints of the Lord ultimately are going to take this kingdom, man. And it's not going to be by us. It's not going to be by our will. It's going to be by the will of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. It's going to be by the Lord's will, man, that we're going to take this kingdom. Because right now we are well aware that we cannot go toe-to-toe with the so-called white man, man. We cannot go toe-to-toe with the so-called white man. We cannot go gun for gun with the so-called white man, man. The so-called white man right now is his turn to rule, man. Did not the scripture say, wait upon me? But guess what? When the Lord does come back and when he gives that green light to his saints and he gives those men that spiritual power, guess what? They're going to take the kingdom, man. We're going to take it. We're not coming to act, to ask. We're not going to come and sit at the G20 summit, and speak with whoever and, politely negotiate, okay, China, y'all can have this. No, man, we're coming to take the whole kingdom, man. And it's going to be forever, man. So that's why we're here, man. That's why we're doing the work. Because our return of investment here, talk about 100%, our return of investment here is 1,000,000,000%, man. It's infinite percent. Because we're doing the work right now. And what do we have to inherit, man? Everything. The entire world, man, and beyond. Not just Earth. Earth is going to be just something basic, man. With the things that the Lord got in line for his people, man.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to sell out in this world because the things that the so-called white man can offer you is temporal. But Yahweh Shai, what he's coming to give us, the rewards, is everlasting. So the hopeful elect, we're willing, we be a part of that. That's what we want. We don't want reparations. We don't want anything that the heathen have to offer. All right, we want what Yahweh Shai has to offer us, which is an everlasting kingdom, immortality, everything in the world.
What is it about the earth, right?
I said that the earth is going to be basic in terms of we're gonna have access to other worlds, man. Like being here is gonna be like, you know, it's gonna be cool. You know, this is where our homeland is gonna be and stuff like that. But there's gonna be other things to look at, man. That's what the Lord has in store for His people, man. Did He not say? What is it? Roughly paraphrasing in my come bring it out.
It's the book of John 4.
Real quick too. Now we don't know, but the elders that apostles had mentioned 4 years ago that the earth will be like the land of Israel will be more magnificent. That's where the elect gonna dwell. Now,
that makes sense.
Now, there's no scripture that say that, but that could very well be the case. Remember, the scripture do talk about Israel's glory, all different various names given to Israel, how they look at the land. So that could very well be. When you go into the scriptures, most times speaks very great things about that land of Israel. You know what I'm saying? So that could very well be the case. You know?
It's the book of John 14:2. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you.
Exactly, man. So in the Lord's Father's home, man, meaning Yahweh's home, there's many mansions, man. And that's not talking about actual mansions, man. That's not talking about mansions. That's not talking about a mansion where you gotta pay property tax on, man. That's not what that's talking about, man. That's talking about something beyond that, man. All right? Just to illustrate the point of what we were talking about those other worlds, man. About what the Lord really has to offer His people, man. It's not just what this world has to offer, man. It's what this world has to offer in a righteous form and some. And then on top of that, there's no time limit on it, man.
This is Daniel chapter 2, verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the Most High of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed.
God, that's talking about the kingdom what? The kingdom of heaven, man. Because this chapter right here in Daniel, it mainly deals with the kingdoms, man. The statue of nations, man. The statue of kingdoms. Where Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. And he came to Daniel and he asked him to interpret the dream. Well, the last kingdom that this chapter speaks about is an everlasting kingdom, man. It's that kingdom that won't fall. Because as you read the chapter and you look at there's usually like a figure. You know, it started off with the head of gold, and then as you go down, the metals become less and less precious, man. In that meaning that these kingdoms are going to be less and less powerful. All right, these kingdoms eventually fall. All right, and as all the kingdoms in that statue have fallen according to that dream, guess what? This kingdom will fall as well, man. And when this kingdom falls, guess what? The one to come up is going to be the greatest one, and everlasting.
It says, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people.
Exactly, the kingdom is not going to be left to other people, man. It's not going to be left to other people, man. All right? The kingdom is going to be solely for our people, man. It's going to be solely for us, man. You know? Solely for our pleasure, man.
It says, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
Exactly, man. But that's not going to come that's not going to come again through diplomacy, man. All right?
Yeah, in time, all of the statues of the
Come.
yeah, each time the value gets less and less precious.
Yeah.
Gold, silver, more brass, then
Iron, and then mixed.
Iron clay. Each time, more and more less and less precious. Weaker and weaker. At the end, it came less precious from gold all the way down, and at the end you got the weakest part, the iron clay.
God.
45, Daniel 2:45. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold.
All right, and that's talking about what? That's talking about the ultimate kingdom. All right, that's talking about the kingdom of Yahweh Shai, man, the nation of Israel, man, the kingdom of heaven, man. Because ultimately that rock represents Yahweh Shai, man, because at the end of the day, we can't do anything without him, man. There is no call to arms. There is no, oh, we're going to get together and we're going to go march in Washington for what? None of that makes sense, man. Because we understand through the scriptures that the so-called white man has a little bit of time, and the Lord has set him up at the end of the day. So we can't just go against the Lord's will. The Lord's will is that the so-called white man right now be as prideful and powerful as ever before. Why? So that it makes his glory even more magnificent when he brings him down, man. So us trying to take arms against the so-called white man for what? It makes no sense, man. At the end of the day, we gotta wait for Yahweh Shai, man. We gotta wait for the green light from Yahweh, man. But that rock that's cut, you see it said that it would break down all these things, man. It will break down the gold. It brought down the brass. All right, it brought down all these kingdoms, man. Because all these kingdoms have been brought down, man. And right now, we're just at the end, man. We're at that final kingdom before the entire statue just comes tumbling down, man.
The great power have made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure.
Exactly, man. So at the end of him telling him, basically, these are all the kingdoms of the world. These are all the kingdoms of the world that are going to come through. And then there's going to be one kingdom that's going to destroy all of them and be everlasting. That was the representation of his dream. That was the representation of Nebuchadnezzar's dream, man. Read it again, Book of Shai. That last bit.
This is Daniel 2:45 towards the end. It says, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure.
Exactly, man. The dream is certain, man. When you know something with certainty, there's no wavering on it, man. So it's the same exact thing with the situation that's going on with these kingdoms, man. And our kingdom, our pending kingdom. These kingdoms right now, they're in line. Right now, they're still, they're still here. But the interpretation is going to be certain, man. These kingdoms will fall. And our people, the nation of Israel, man, under Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man, we're gonna rule, man, forever. There's gonna be an everlasting kingdom, man.
This is 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Exactly, man. Esau is the beginning of the world, man. In other words, right now, he is in power, man. The so-called white man is in power. But guess what? At the end of the day, his power is low level, man. His power is low level. Because the so-called white man needs to do so many things, man. And at the end of the day, he's in power, but he knows it's temporal, man. It's for a short time. The so-called white man in his kingdom can still die, all right? He needs to go and do all these crazy heart transplants and all these things in order for him to, kind of try to, lengthen his lifespan, all right? Trying to get into the merging with the machines through transhumanism and all that. At the end of the day, that's all fruitless, man. That just proves that your kingdom is low level, man. Because the men of the Lord in their kingdom, it's going to be forever, man. There is not going to be no need for transhumanism, no need for a heart transplant. For what? We're literally ruling forever. We're going to be immortal, man. That's what we're looking forward to, man. That's why we're here.
Revelation. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea.
Exactly. So that's talking about the old world, man. That old kingdom. It was passed away, man, and there was a new one.
And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
Exactly, man. And what John saw the kingdom of heaven, man. He saw New Jerusalem. All right, he saw the city. And it was adorned like a bride, man. And what happens when a woman gets married, man? She adorns herself, man. She gets all nice, she gets fly, man. She gets as beautiful as she can be. Well, guess what, man? That's exactly how it was in that vision, man. It was like a bride, adorned, man. It was beautiful. God, that's talking about New Jerusalem, man. That's talking about one of the most important things that we have on the earth, man, like the brother was talking about. Man. That's gonna be our city, man. In the kingdom of heaven, man.
This is Job chapter 20, verse 5. That the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment.
Exactly, man. The triumphant of the wicked is what?
This is Job 20 and 5. that the triumphing of the wicked is short.
Exactly, it's short, man. The triumphing of the wicked is short. So yeah, Esau is winning right now. He's winning, but right now, just right now. When the Lord comes back, you already know that Esau's not going to stand a chance, man. When the Lord comes back and shows his might, and he comes back to get busy, the so-called white man's not going to have a chance, man. That's why I said their triumphing is short. The triumphing of the wicked is short, man. Because it's on a timeline, man. These kingdoms are not everlasting like our kingdom.
And the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment.
And the joy of a hypocrite but for a moment, man. So yeah, you good right now. The so-called white man is in a great place right now, man. The so-called white man, even on a low level, even as a Joe six-pack Edomite, you know, a regular white dude, you can pretty much travel anywhere in the world, man, and be good.
Yeah, that's what that dude Louis C.K.
Yeah.
comedian
Oh
named
yeah,
Louis
yeah,
C.K.
yeah. That's a good
He
bit.
said, what you going through? Give me mad by calling me a cracker. You take me back. Wow, you took me back to owning land and people. Wow,
Yeah.
my feelings really hurt. He said if he could die, he could come. He said being white is basically like you can go. He said being white, I can go any point in time in history. And it's like here, table for two. That's what he said.
God.
And he said, I know for basically like I know for all the evils we did, they're gonna, you know, he said, after we fall, they're gonna F us up to you know what, forever. But for now, that's what he said.
God.
But see now, this damn devil, look at you damn devils in slavery. We're gonna teach you what slavery is. Come on. We're gonna teach you what true slavery really is. Alright?
God.
It says, verse 6, it says, though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung.
Exactly, man. So your kingdom is gonna go up high, man. This kingdom is at its apex, man. So-called white man really thinks that he's getting forward with his so-called new world order, man. All right? They have the riches. They have the records, man. They have all the gold. So their excellency is up there, man. But guess what? The Lord's gonna bring you down like shit, man. Like dung. Like see like a dog go and, you know, dog just shit, boom. That's exactly how the Lord's gonna put you, man. Back in your rightful place.
They which have seen him shall say, where is he? He shall fly away as a dream and shall not be found.
Exactly, man. So the Lord's gonna make it to basically all the work, all the trouble that the so-called white man in his kingdom has gone through to get to the point that they're at right now. It's gonna be like nothing. Like it's gonna just nothing.
Because eventually in time, Esau gonna be like a distant memory.
Yep.
When we say Esau, we're talking about the so-called white race. Because according to the Bible, they descend from Esau, the nation of Edom.
That's right.
At a point in time, after we exterminate them, in time they're gonna be a memory. It's gonna be like, oh shoot, remember Esau? That's how it's gonna be.
This is Job chapter 20, verse 8. He shall fly away as a dream, he shall not be found.
Yeah. You ever had a dream? You woke up, damn, what the hell that dream about?
Yep.
Like as soon as you wake up, you get the dream.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I was
Yeah. As soon as you wake up, you're like, damn, what the hell that damn shit about? That's what it's still gonna be. The time it's like a forgotten memory, man. You know? It's like a forgotten memory. It's still gonna be like our history that he buried. You know what I'm saying? You go to an average black person, the Moor, what the hell is the Moor? He's still buried it, but that's like he's still gonna be. It's gonna be like a forgotten memory in time. You know?
That's right.
Yeah, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him.
Exactly, man. So listen, man, the Most High, right? Yahweh Shemi Hawashai, what they have in store for you, man, is eradication, man. It's just complete, like the brother said, man, like a distant memory, man. This kingdom and all the so-called greatness that the so-called white man has achieved in this kingdom is gonna be like just a vapor, man. It's gonna be a vapor, man. And ultimately, you're just gonna be destroyed, man. You're gonna be exterminated, like the brother said, man. Yeah, yeah. You know,
With that, we're gonna close.
Cut.
Close it out.
All right, so with that, we're going to close. First of all, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem, Kadosh. You know, until next time, Shalom.